Manpreet, you're live.
Perfect. We can start now.
Yeah, you can start.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening from various places around the world. Welcome to our CSharpCorner Global Monthly Meet. It's growing day by day, and from one platform to the other, we are just growing ahead and ahead. So let me talk to you about our agenda today. So our agenda today is gonna be. Let me know if I can see my screen up there.
I think we just lost Manpreet for some reason. I'm going to talk about the agenda until Manpreet joins. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And okay, where's the screen? Okay, so this monthly virtual meetup we're going to do every single month on 15th year, and it will be driven around the businesses, administration, developers, and architect, right? For this event, we have Mahesh Chand, Manpreet, Asanka, and Viswanath joining us today, who will be covering topics like Azure Cache, Redis, achieving the agility, power apps, and a lot more. Let me check out if Manpreet has come. Right. So Manpreet has come once again. So I'm going to drop and bring Manpreet back to the show. Hi, Manpreet. What just happened right now?
Thank you, Steve. Probably I clicked on multiple clicks.
Okay. I think it's yours now. I'm gonna drop, and the show is back yours.
Okay, so thank you. So, thank you, Steve. So everyone, we are gonna start off with an open mic. Let me introduce you to all the speakers out here. We are gonna have Viswanatha Swamy, who is gonna speak on working with Azure caching for Redis and .NET Core and Node.js. And then we're gonna have Asanka. He's from California. We're gonna have how to achieve true agility through programming. And then it's me. I'm gonna present on Power Platforms. I'm gonna show you Power Apps, flows, automate. I'm also gonna show you virtual agents. So it's gonna be a big fun. I'm gonna show you a new thing, how AI is actually influencing Power Platform in the end. So that's the agenda today, and like if you see my screen, I have Mahesh Chand. Mahesh Chand is the founder of C Sharp Corner. Hi Mahesh. Uh, Please join us on the call.
Hey, thank you, Manpreet. How are you? Hey, guys, good morning, everybody. Thank you for watching us. It's a nice, sunny, beautiful day in Philadelphia. Both me and Manpreet, we live close by in Philly. Uh, if you guys are not aware, if you don't know, Philadelphia is a part of Pennsylvania state. We are not too far from New York. Obviously, everybody's now staying home due to this COVID, and hopefully, all of you guys are staying safe from everywhere you're watching from. And we're hoping in a few months this thing will be over. So during this time, what we are doing is Manpreet is running this monthly global meetup, and from Philadelphia right now, we are doing this every 15th of every month. This global meetup happens 15th of every month, regardless of the day. We usually do time is around, I think, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So hopefully we will love to see you guys every month. And every month there will be different topics. Topics will be, we are going to pull, Manpreet we are going to pull different speakers on different topics. Um, the the format of this meetup is, in the beginning we will bring few speakers. They will talk different topics, and in the end we may open for some question and answers. And Manpreet already said, mentioned this. We have three great speakers today. We have Swami. He's going to talk about Azure Cache in Redis in .NET Core with Node.js. Um, and then we have agility through programming, Akansha is coming. He's a CTO of a company, and then Manpreet himself is going to talk about um, Power Apps. By the way, Power Apps and Power Platforms are uh, growing really big there, especially in US. More and more companies I talk to, I see they are adapting Office 365, they are adapting SharePoint Online, they're adapting, this whole Power Platform. So if this is something you guys, any of you are interested, definitely join Manpreet's session today. So welcome back again. I'm excited. I'll be here watching this show. And back to Manpreet.
Thank you, Mahesh. So everyone, as Mahesh said, this is going to be every event. Just remember 15th of every month, CSharpCorner conference. It should be that easy to remember for all of you. So that we want you people to join us. We are going to share the link with you. If you want to be a speaker, if you want to share your expertise with us, please go ahead. There's a link on your chat window. Just fill up the form with your article or with your title you want to speak on, and we'll give you a chance to speak here. Not only here, we have several events coming up. You can speak in US time zones, Europe time zone, as well as in Indian time zone. So make sure you are submitting your session if you want to speak to. And it's nothing to worry if you're a new user, new contributor. Please go ahead. Like everybody starts from somewhere, right? And this is the platform, C Sharp Corner. And so let's go ahead with it. Swami, if you're on a call, can we start our demo, first demo of the day? I can see him coming up. Hi, Swami. Swami, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. How are you, Manpreet?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Good, good.
Perfect. You ready to rock and roll the stage today?
Yep, yep.
Uh,
Pretty much a lot of code. Let me spend 5, 10. The starting thing will be for 10, 15 minutes. You guys will
okay.
be doing it? Huh?
No, oh, we have done it, so we want you to start the demo now. Once you're ready.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. Just give me 5 minutes time.
Sure, sure. Take your time. So till then,
Mm,
I'll tell these join people who have joined us. So
mm,
we have been doing this from last because of the COVID. We became virtual. It's gonna be was to be the most physical event, but now I think we're gonna be closed down for a quite a long time. So everything's gonna go like this, virtually, and I think we all favor it, right? So sitting on the sofas and watching people speak on different technologies, and we're learning from them. And so, welcome to the virtual meetup. So, Swami, let me know once you're ready, and I'll hand it over
yes.
to you.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Mm. అవతల తీసుకెళ్ళండి అవతల తీసుకెళ్ళు Um,
So, Swami, you're from Hyderabad, right?
oh yeah, I'm born and raised here in
Okay,
this city.
nice.
Oh, I was born and raised here, and for 3 years I was in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Where in New
yep,
Jersey?
Edison Metro Park.
Oh, okay. That's nice. That's close to
Yeah,
us.
yeah, and I never felt like I was in US because
Okay.
you,
Yeah.
you know that area is entirely mostly
Oh, yeah. It's an Indian street. I totally call that
exactly
as
yeah.
Srinagar. Yes.
I mean, you talk about Hyderabad, and I just want to pull in because the cuisine of Hyderabad is really amazing.
Of course. But I think Swami is vegetarian. Swami?
Oh yeah, I'm vegetarian. No meat, no egg.
Okay,
Perfect.
okay. So I think Manpreet, when you talked about the virtual conferences that we are doing now and the AMAs that we have done from the past, a few years we have been doing annual conferences, and this was 2020. We plan to go to 20 cities. Probably it could happen. So now we are reaching out to people through online media. We have started doing virtual conferences. We even now launch a book through online. I mean, we give a platform where authors are able to reach out by coming live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and they go ahead and talk about their books. After today, after we end this today's live event, tomorrow we have a very interesting live event coming, and that will be on how does a conversational AI application work, and that will be taken by Mia Chang. A brief introduction: Mia Chang is a Microsoft AI MVP, and she will be joining us from Germany. And throughout the session, we're going to talk about on how actually these applications work from backend. I mean, we do know there are many some emulators, and there are a lot more stuffs. The other day, we had a voice tech AMA where John and Sanjeev talked about the virtual assistant, on how we can use voice technology, how it is growing. The session that will be coming tomorrow, it is going to drive through the what happens actually at the back end. So that is something really interesting. And by the time Swami works on his presentation, Swami, are you done?
Oh, yes. 1 minute, I will start.
Okay. Well, okay, perfect. So, Manpreet, why don't you go ahead and talk?
Yeah, I'm
How,
done. I'm done,
you're
sir.
done? You're done?
He's
Yep,
ready.
yep,
Perfect. I mean, we
I'm
can
good.
take a couple of minutes. I can talk to Manpreet. It's totally fine.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no problem. You guys carry on. I'm done. I mean, once you guys give me the control, I'll start.
Okay,
Shashi.
so Manpreet, why don't you go ahead and give a brief on how did you connect with C Sharp Corner, and what was the year, and how did things actually start?
Okay, it's a long story.
You
C-Sharp
can brief it
Corner.
for like 1 or 2 minutes, maybe. Yeah.
Uh, so I joined C-Sharp Corner in 2013, I guess. Yeah, and I started writing like some small articles, blogs, kind of first of thing, like 100 words, and then moved on from blogs to articles, writing some 1,000 word, 500 words article. From there to here, right now I have some 4 to 5 million people as my readers, and been a long way, I guess, connecting to Mahesh and Praveen. Like they have been always so motivating. That's the fun of C Sharp Corner. You feel him at home. You don't have to be like working for a corporate. It's just connect to them, talk to them. Hello, hi, how are you? And get invited for even tea and lunch. So that's
Manpreet,
how a
what was your
relationship is.
first? What was your first article? Do you remember your first article that you wrote?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Really? I remember I wrote an article on IoT, and that went. I mean, I'm still a very. I'm not a very good writer. I'm still very young, but we do have very senior guys posting articles and code snippets and
Right.
blogs on our C# Corner platform. Uh, now, as we go ahead and talk about this video stuff and coming, I think Swami is now prepared, and now he's like, okay, I'm good now. Let me give the
Let's go
controls.
ahead with it.
Swami, you're all good?
Yep, yep.
How about you go ahead and share screen, and then we both can drop and you can pull up your screen on the broadcast.
Sure, sure. I will do that. Just give me a moment. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I
open the
can
project.
see your screen.
Okay.
Perfect. Swami, you're good to go. I think
Perfect.
my
Yeah.
and Manpreet time is over. Manpreet will be joining later on after, uh, maybe when you end, and from now it's all yours.
Persistence. Okay. I, okay. 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 Right. Okay. So, good evening, guys. This is Swami. So today's topic is we'll discuss on how to incorporate or use Redis cache in the mix when we want to go get the content from the data store and show it in UI. So what happen is most of the times if we are going to bring in the get method, get all, mostly get all. So until and unless someone goes and updates a record or someone goes deletes or adds a new record, rest of the content will be static. That is one use case. The another use case is some of the configuration which goes and gets updated once in a day, like some exchange rates that will happen every day in the morning, 3 a.m. as part of the job, where we go get the content and refresh the table. So only in these kind of use cases, uh, again and again we go and hit the database, get the query, and show it on to the screen. So that's a costly operation. So it's an attempt to showcase how can we save time if we bring in Redis cache into the mix. Okay, so let's start. I have a demo script, and all the code is will be saved inside the Git repository, which I'll be sharing in, including this demo script with a couple images. Everything is here. So how do we deploy or install Redis cache? There are a couple of ways, and this is the first way, which has been suggested by the Redis lab itself. They asked us to install the WSL. There is another guy who has provisioned this Redis cache for Windows, so you can go get the MSI package and install. So I opted to go ahead with this WSL. So this Windows subsystem, okay, subsystem for Linux. I just installed that, and on top of that, we can go ahead and do an sudo apt get and sudo apt update and upgrade. Once you do that, and another command is we can go and install this to Redis. So we can type this command. So it already says that our Redis cache is up and running and with the latest version. Okay. Then the next thing what we can do is if the Redis server is up and running, we can check that Redis hyphen server its version and Redis hyphen CLI and its version. Both it shows the versions. So we can go and type this Redis CLI, and it says that could not be connected. That means the service did not start. So what we can do is we can come and we can type this type this command. Redis server restart. Let me type this. One second. Ooh. Looks like I need to exit WSL. Ah, refused. Did I do that? God. Okay. Okay. Now Redis server has started. Let's do that Redis server version and Redis client version. And if we type redis hyphen CLI, so that goes into this prompt 127.0.1 dot with 6379. That's a non-HTTP port. That's how it executes in local. So the basic thing what we can do is keys. So one of the key which I have created, that is that persists here. So that's uh, that's how we configure Redis on our laptop. First thing what we will do is we install. There are other method. It is there. The executable is there. We can go and get it from the GitHub and install that MSI package. But it is little older version. And when we get this WSL on Windows 10 and install the Redis, it will be always the latest one, because Redis mostly they maintain the Linux version. Okay, so suppose if the Redis has not started, so we'll do sudo service Redis server restart. We can stop and start. And how do you know that what version it is there? So we can do Redis hyphen server version, and Redis hyphen CLI version is client. Okay, and how does the client connect to the Redis server? We need to type Redis hyphen CLI. Now the prompt changes to 127.0.0.1.6379. So when the prompt changes to this, that means our CLI has already connected to the server. And what we can do is keys of asterisk. So it gives all the keys in this. Okay, so the that's the first piece of the story. So the next piece of the story is, first we will build up a web API with .NET Core 3.1 and EF Core. Okay, without the mix of Redis. Okay, once that is done, then we'll slowly come back and add Redis into the mix. Okay, so just bear with me for 1 minute. Uh, Bear with me for 1 minute. Uh, 1 minute. So microservice October 5th. Okay. So this is the plain vanilla uh, API. So we'll quickly build that. So we have a couple of tables here. Select star from professors. So that goes and gets the content from this, and there's another table. Uh, select star from students. Okay, we got these couple tables. So we do we'll get this records and this child records also. So let's build this API real quick. So let me see what all the pieces which are missing. We'll quickly build this. It will not take much time. So we'll do one by one quickly. So we have two entities. One entity is the professor, which is mapping with the table, and other entity is student, which is mapping with the which is mapping with this student table. Okay, and the next big piece will be the context, the DB context. So the moment DB context it shows the red squiggly, we'll go get the SQL server. Entity framework SQL Server NuGet package. We'll add that. We'll go here. Microsoft. This one. Microsoft dot entity framework core dot SQL Server. Okay. So I go and get the latest version. I mean 3 dot version. I'm not getting the 5.x. I'm just sticking to 3.1. It gets this NuGet package. Then we'll fix up those red squigglies, and we should be good to go. Let it build. Okay, good. So now we'll come back here, and almost all the squigglies are gone. So this is the DB context. First we saw entities, and now we came back to DB context. Is a pretty simple DB context. And the next big piece is this data access layer, which internally goes and calls this DB context. and business access layer. This guy calls the DB. This guy calls the DB context, and have one constant here, which is using this connection strings dot college db connection string. Will fix up the connection string, and we have one weather control. Okay, so first thing what we will do is, first let's fix up the connection string. So let me grab this and come back to this guy. And one of the best practice, one of the practice, I mean, to use the secret store, and secret store if it is on local. So I generally what do is, I'll just use it in the development settings and add this to the ignore item, so that this will be saved. This will not go get checked in. Okay, but when you come and see the app settings, and that app settings will have the template. I mean, it should know that what is involved to make this API work. So at least I'm giving an int saying that, okay, go grab this DB college DB connection string, and get this Redis connection string. But for our working, we'll use this local. Okay, so that's the thing. And next thing is, let me go grab this controller so that we can get going in action. And coming in here, dropping this guy. So we'll fix up a couple of items from here, and then we'll go ahead. The first thing is, I'll move this guy into the entities, and then I'll add this entities to the weather forecast uh, namespace. So now all this will be with the same namespace, and with that will give us the red squigglies here for this weathercast. So let's grab that namespace and remove unwanted usings, and that fixed it. And the next thing is, we'll go to the professor's controller, and I think professor's controller, all is well in the professor's controller. Uh, oh, that's where. Let me delete this. Looks like I pasted it one extra time. Okay, now this red squigglies should go. Okay, right. So let's take one moment. Again, we'll discuss. We have entities. Entities is like a DTO, plain old CLR object. So it's just a plain classes, nothing else. It's an anamic model. And we have the DB context, which is mapping to those two tables. And data access layer is the one which goes talks to the DB context, and the professor's business access layer talks to the data access layer, and the controller, this guy goes and talks to the business access layer. Okay, so this guy goes and talks to the business access layer. So once again, okay, this guy goes and talks to the business access layer. Then we will come and verify this app settings that exist, and here also it exists. So one more quick thing what we need to do is, we can come back here in the properties, and we'll write down like API, and here also, just to be with the same naming convention, API, and come back here and tag this guy API slash, so that, okay, all is well. Now we go and execute this. When we go and execute, we'll see that weather forecast, we didn't hook up the DB context yet. So there are one change which is there. We will do it in a moment. and we'll quickly go and see the content which is coming up. Uh, because it's the first time, it takes little bit time. Okay, so I'll grab that and put it here so that we can use it frequently. Okay, the content is coming. Okay, so I will stop this and then close all these files. Now the key piece will be in this startup.cs. Okay, the key piece will be in this startup.cs. So the first thing is we need to do a dependency injection. So that's the dependency injection container. So first what we will do is we'll grab these two guys. We'll grab these two guys and drop it after this. Okay, so what we are doing is we are adding um, that okay, I have changed the constant. Just give me a moment. Common, and here is the go back to here, and I'll paste it here. So what basically one of the best practices is if you have constants and that constants belongs to some specific piece of functionality. So it's better to move that to a subclass of that, so that you know that why this constant is used for. Suppose if we come back and see that, see the code here, it clearly shows that this constants, what the SQL connection string, this constant belongs to a class called data store. That means to some particular functionality. So we are organizing these constants instead of having 15 or 20 constants under the same umbrella with a class called constants, putting all these 15, it doesn't make sense. And those 15 constants might be used for 6 to 7 functionality. But if you organize those inside those classes, subclasses, so anyone who's reading the code, they'll clearly know that okay, this particular SQL connection string is used for functionality A, and some other connection string is used for functionality B. Okay, so that's the one of the tip which we can use it to organize our constants, so that anyone who's reading, even we ourselves will come back after 2 months or something to see our code. We can easily identify, hey, this is the code which I have written. So now that we have hooked up this constants, I think we are good to go and go grab this professor's data. So let me execute this now. And at this point of time, still we didn't hook up this Redis cache. Okay, still we have only two players in the mix. One is the web API, and another guy who's there in this mix is EF core. Okay, let me go to that network tab and go grab this guy. I want only filter it by API, and then I'll go grab this professors. So you can see that because it's the first time it's hooking up, it took 4 seconds, and from there onwards it will take like 143 milliseconds or less number of milliseconds, as and when you're making this call. It's improvising this. If you can see that from 4 seconds it came to 140, it came back to 143, and from 143 157, it's remaining around that time frame. Okay, and we'll focus for today's demo, we'll focus on two of the methods, assuming that get all professors and get a professor by ID. These are the two things which we want to go and store it in cache, because we think that the professors will be added once in a year or once in 6 months or something. So it doesn't make sense to go and get the content every time from the database. Okay, or else at least for 2-3 days it doesn't get updated professors. So realistically it doesn't make sense for us to go and grab it from the grab it from the database. Okay, so let's build on that story. So let's come back and verify what did we do. We verified our Redis is up and running in the WSL, and we verified that our existing web API, a simple plain vanilla web API with ASP.NET 3.1, including the EF core, is up and running. Okay. Now what do we do is we need to go and start adding this NuGet package for the cache. So let's go grab this guy here, and this is the one, Stack Exchange Redis. There are different flavors, but this is what I used it because Microsoft site also suggests the same. So it's better to stick to this. So we'll go and grab this guy. Okay, we can do that way, or another way is what we can do is we can simply go copy this guy and drop it. Okay, something like this. See this, instead of going and playing with this NuGet dialog, what we can do is we can directly come and select this and just drop these lines and do a save, and you can see that it will start pulling in these NuGet packages here. At the bottom we saw that fraction of second it bought all those NuGet packages. Okay, so now that's the good thing. So what we will do is we'll start improvising one by one. Now we have seen in our execution when we were accessing that API, it took it took 4 seconds and then came back to 150 seconds and 57 and 37 seconds. So now we will see how can we improve. Okay, we'll come back and check this keys. Is there anything? Okay, there's nothing in the keys. Okay, so the first piece what we will do is we'll come back to the API where we are bringing in the where we are bringing in this get all professors. Okay, here is the one which goes and gets all the professors, and it is IEnumerable or of professor. That's an object. So what we need to do is first come here, and first we need to check do we have any object inside do you have anything inside the cache. If it is, then deserialize IEnumerable of professor and send it back. If we don't have anything, then we go and get that from the database, and then drop it inside the cache, so that what happen is the next round when we come back, we don't need to go get this content from the database. We can get it from the cache itself. Okay, so before doing that, what we need to do is we need to hook up the Redis cache pieces in the mix. Right now we don't have, so quickly we'll go and do that first. So we'll come back to the startup class, and here is the Redis cache one. Okay, so we'll add this Redis cache at this one. So we'll see that in action in a moment. Okay, so here is this Redis connection string that goes to this constant, and here is the instance name. Okay, instance name I'm calling it as college Redis cache underscore. Okay, there are other keys is all professors. If at all we grab the professor's record, we'll write it under this name, college.all professors. With this key we'll write it, and if at all we pull any one of this professor, so professor underscore that particular ID, because each professor has got an unique ID, so that guy's data also we are dropping it. Okay, so we'll do it, we'll see one by one. Okay, so we did this, and we will quickly go and build this guy for a moment, and we'll see the dependency injection container, how that works. So let's quickly go grab this guy and execute it, and let's hold on for a moment to see the dependency injection container, what it is doing. So if you come here and do shift F9, and you can see 167 dependencies are there at this point of time. So if we scroll to the bottom, of this, it will show all those dependencies related to this DB context, and we'll do F10. We'll do F10, and again we'll go and uh, check. Here it is. It has added two more dependencies. Okay, in this result view, if you go grab the result view, you will see that slowly. If you navigate that, you will see all those dependencies, including this DB context and those business access layer and the data access layer, and this Redis cache. Everything gets added here, and that's how when we ask for any of this dependency, this guy go grab this dependency from this container and hand it over to us. So that's this one. So yeah, here you see that the DB context, the college DB context, the professor bal, and all these things, and a couple things for this distributed cache. Okay, so that's the piece of code which will hook up this Redis cache in the mix as part of the service container. Okay, once that is done, what we can do is we can come back to this processes controller, and we need to take this as a dependency, because we already added it here, and all we need to do is come back to this place and tell, hey, I need this I distributed cache, could you please give me. That's the only thing we need to tell, and framework will take care of injecting it for ourselves. So come and drop it here, and underscore cache equal to, this is a cache. So now we have added it as part of the constructor injection. Then what we will do is, here we'll write a simple piece of code. Okay, so what we are doing is, essentially we are telling that from the cache. Okay, from the cache, this I enumerable. Okay, we are saying that from the cache, go and get me a string, so that returns the string if at all that is available inside our cache. At this point of time, if you come and see this cache, it has got only one item, that's called Shiva. Now if I go and type, it says this one. If I go and type Shiva, it doesn't, because this is a capital S and this is a lower cases. It's a little case sensitive, so need to be a little careful on that. So we trying to grab this from cache. We are checking that do we have anything with this all professors. Okay, it says that it doesn't have. If it says it doesn't have anything, okay, in that case we need to grab. That comes to the else block. Okay, at this point of time we'll have the if block. So if block, what we are doing is, suppose if something is found, if that is not empty, in that case what we have to do is we have to go grab the whatever the content which we have retrieved, that we are deserializing to enumerable of professors. Okay, that means we are retrieving it from the cache, we are not hitting the database. And suppose if at all something we didn't get any hit from the cache, so in that case what we will do is we will go first, as we were doing previously, we were going and getting it from the database. We'll first bring in that, and then we will drop this guy, we'll serialize and drop it into the cache. Okay, this method I need to grab it, which is at the bottom of this, because this expiration stuff, we need to write it couple of times. So I just thought that to move this guy into a method. Okay, what basically what we are doing is, I'm expiring this content in 60 seconds, so just that we can see the difference. We are not going into the Redis cache, the cache is getting expired, and we are going and getting it from the database. It's a simulation, like what if we have 5 records of professors and a new professor has been added. In that case, what happens is, if we go and grab the content from the Redis cache, that's an misrepresentation of the fact, because the data store has got 6 records but the cache has got 5, so we need to invalidate the cache. So just to simulate that, we are expiring this cache in 60 seconds. Okay, I think it's pretty much everything we have. What do we need? So let's go grab this guy. Let's uh, drop couple debugger points. I think I removed the debugger. Yes, I removed the debugger there. So it's there in this get all processes. Okay. So let's grab this guy and drop it here. And I'm getting the content for professors. Okay, that's first time it is constructing. So we can see that that's null. It couldn't find anything in this cache, and that we can confirm it from here. This is empty. So what we will do is we'll come back here and place a debugger, and I'll do an F5. That let's do an F10. So it's coming to the else block, and I'll do a continue. So it goes, grabs the content from the data store and adds it into this one. So now if you come and see get keys, it shows this new entry which was not there previously. So let me grab that guy, and it's there. So right now we have successfully added this. So I'll just come out of this one. Okay, now second time if someone goes and calls the same method, so at this point of time we can come and see that the processes from cache, it has got a big JSON with him. So in that case there was a hit from the cache. So in that case we don't need to go get the content from the database. See this, we go directly get this from the Redis cache, which is in memory fast, and we'll grab it. Okay, that's from the functionality perspective, whether we are going it to the server or whether we are going it to the Redis cache. Okay, now we'll restart this. Now from the capturing of the number perspective, this exercise, whatever we did it, we stopped it and we restarted just to capture the number. So let me grab this, put it in the filter so that we can focus only on these numbers. Okay, so let's assume this is the first time we are hitting. The number will be big. We'll not consider that number, but whatever the subsequent call which is happening. Okay, 3.72 seconds. I'm not going to consider that. But let's consider this one. If you see that second, it was 180 milliseconds, and see, and this one, you see that. If you consider the 3.72 and 46 and 21 milliseconds, there's a huge difference. Even if it is less than half, that's a good win situation. So that's a good deal. We are winning a lot. Okay, so that was how did we add this guy. And now what we will do is we'll quickly come and grab a small piece which is to go retrieve this individual professor ID. Okay, again this all follows the same rules of the game. We'll go grab the string from the cache. If it is a hit, we'll parse, deserialize that guy. If it is a miss, we go grab it from the data store and drop it. Okay, so I'll steal this piece of code and come back here, and whatever this one line is there, we'll go and modify that in here. Okay, at this point we can pretty much what we are doing is we are concatenating single professor underscore whatever the ID, the GUID is coming, we are doing this one. Okay, I think again the concept is same. We have already seen step by step in the debug process. So I'm dropping it there, not focusing on the debug points, but we can see from the numbers perspective. Let me remove all these things, and now go check. Now because it was 60 seconds expiration, that's gone. Right now we don't have anything in the cache, assuming that someone updated the data store and we are invalidating the cache. Okay, we are simulating like that, and you can see that the initial first call, it took 4 seconds, and again go and see that. Now we have the entry in the cache. Now we can see that it took 194 milliseconds, and from there onwards it's like um, very slow. It's 29 milliseconds and 24. It's around 30 milliseconds at an average if you see that. So this is a pretty good win-win deal. So now what we will do is, at this point of time, let's come back and do a real quick check. We only have two entries in the cache. So let me go grab this guy. I want to get this professor. I will go and grab this guy, professor, and now we can come back and check the keys. So that professor ID, whatever is there, 5EC797, 5EC797, that guy is there, and this guy is there. And now what we will do is, at this point of time, we need to grab it from the data store. Now we'll go grab it from the Redis cache. Now you're seeing that it's a huge win situation, isn't it? 340 milliseconds and 27 and 25 milliseconds, even if it is 50 milliseconds, it's a pretty much big win for us, having this Redis cache into the mix. Okay, so let's wait for 30 seconds so that that this guy okay, that full professors has been gone. So right now we have only the professor Shivasai's record is there in this Redis cache. I go grab this guy, and now we'll see that at this point of time it's going and grabbing this professors. It took 84 milliseconds, and we'll come back and validate this. Come back and validate this. We see that now the process is there. So this time when we go, um grab, it was 24 milliseconds and 17 milliseconds. But even if you see the comparison, the cache got invalidated, but the entire end-to-end from the API to data store, the connection has been hooked up. But still, you are seeing that less than 50 percent of the time is less. So it's a huge win from any point of view. If you see that, whether you are hitting it for the first time, you're hitting the first time for the database and first time to the Redis cache, you saw that it was somewhere around 3 point change seconds. And when we grab it from the Redis cache for the first time, it was some 180 milliseconds. It was pretty huge difference. And once this initial establishment of connection from end-to-end server to data store to Redis cache, at the time we saw that improvement. Instead of taking seconds, it took 340 milliseconds or 84 milliseconds, whatever the number of seconds. But still, that was for the database. And when we go and grab it from the Azure Redis cache, it was huge win. Okay, so Stephen, how much time do I have more?
I believe you still have somewhere around maybe 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. So I will showcase that real quick from the UI side also. So I just created a plain vanilla web app. Now that we saw the difference in the numbers, so we saw two pieces of the equation. This is the third piece. So that becomes the complete story. So let's make this quick. Um, uh, because this UI comes little late. Once it comes, we can grab all the code at once and drop it here. First compilation is little okay. In the meanwhile, let me go identify those pieces. I think from the demo perspective, we have seen everything. We have seen the timestamps retrieval and a particular professor. We have seen the timestamps and delete or wait till the cache expiration. We have seen that also, as if the cache got invalidated. We have seen a big win. And let me go grab this guy, the client application, the source from the app, and from the fetch data perspective, that guy is our code. So we'll see this current UI, and then we'll. Why it's taking this much time? The first time it takes this much time. I think first time it builds takes a lot of time. Once the UI comes, it will be easy. Um, this guy is eating up our time. Um, okay, application has started. Source. I think it should come now. Now it's loading. I told you, isn't it? The first time it was killing. Okay, so when we come and see this fetch data, what it does is it goes and brings in the weather forecast information. So the weather forecast information is coming from within this application itself. In this controllers, there is a weather forecast. So he's bringing in the content from here. So let's do a small change. Instead of going and bringing in the content from this local, let's get it from this guy 44348 44348. So let me grab this guy, and let me grab this guy and drop it in this UI. So I'll explain you what's happening in here. We'll go to the fetch data, and we're dropping it here. So essentially what we are doing is we have created another interface to get this professor's data. At this point of time, this professor's data we will go and grab from there. And what is the API URL? The API URL is 44348. So that should be 44348. Okay, that's the port number. Okay, that's a port number. Then we will quickly come and execute this guy. So this will not work. Whatever we are doing right now, it will not work. So we'll quickly come to the network tab and wait for this to fail. In the meanwhile, what we will do is we'll come back and grab a couple of pieces from the startup class. So what was missing is the cars was missing. So we should go and allow the cars. So we'll see and what port number it is running 44320. What is that? 44320. So we'll grab this guy here and come back to our professor services and go to the startup class. And here on the top we'll add this. What was this port number? Let me check that again. 44320. Okay, 44320. And then if you go to this fetch data, right now I removed it. It will fail. It shows pending and it will fail, because we know that even if it's running, it will not work. So the next thing what we have to do is we have to add this in the configure service. So we are adding it the scars here. And the next thing what we have to do is we have to inform to use the cars. So the second piece what we have to add it is here before or after this. After this use routing, we use this one. Okay, so now that what we are telling is if it is a cross origin, anyone is coming, from this port, allow them. If the port changes again, we'll not be able to get the data, but assuming that the port will be same. Okay, once that is done, I think we should go get the data. And let me clear it off. And still there is an issue because we didn't write the piece for the displaying the professor's information. At this point of time, it will go grab this weather forecast information. So you saw that the weather forecast, the professors are coming in, the data is there, but we don't have the HTML piece in mix. So let me go and grab that guy, HTML component. It's this guy. I'll go grab it, and I'll drop this guy in the second half of this, in the client app, and the fetch component. Here I dropped it. Okay, and I'll come back to this UI, and if it doesn't pull that, then we need to go grab stop the server and restart it. Oh, there you go, it pulled it. So now essentially, if you see that, see the behavior, how fast it is fetching this. It's fetching pretty fast, as if it is pretty much a local. It's getting it from the local. Okay, now it's gone. So okay, but it took a fraction of seconds. Now see that this has come. Previously it wasn't, but at the time when the collection was there, it was coming within a fraction of second. Now when it got disappeared, it took few seconds. Okay, so that's the complete story of today's session. So we initially started how to configure Redis cache, and then we we had a simple web API with EF core and .NET 3.x, and we saw the numbers, and then we brought Redis into the mix. So we saw that pretty much a huge win in from the numbers perspective. And then what did we do is we have a plain vanilla ASP.NET Core, plain vanilla Angular app, Angular 9 app, and we started consuming this weather forecast as well as the professors from this API, and we found that course was not there. Then we went back and fixed the course, and that's it from me. And thank you so much for joining. Do you guys have any queries?
Hi, Swami. It was a really amazing session that you gave. There's tons of codes that's going on right from the very beginning of your session. Let me ask you, Swami, how long it took you to prepare this presentation, all this demo?
All this demo. Yesterday night, 2 a.m. I slept. So I finished my office work and then I sat, because since all my demos, I'll keep it only on one concept and add on top of that. So it will be easy for me. So I just have those scripts and some of those methods, and then I'll go grab one by one and use it. So I really enjoy doing this community service. I mean, tech talks.
Yeah, I mean, you have been doing a lot of webinars also on CSharpCorner platform. Whenever I go over there's a one webinar listed by Swami, and people would actually go and attend then. What recent webinar you're having right now?
Oh, tomorrow there is one. That's a pretty good one, where I'm discussing about how the gRPC client-side streaming. So imagine a scenario where people are coming for to a e-save or some government center where they want to enroll their address for different services. Let's assume one for the banking service, for the for the personal account, or for something, multiple things. That's a use case. And that means what, when that employee, government employee, takes all our address information and select that, okay, you want this enrollment for Aadhaar card, for banking, or for something else, for LPG gas subsidies and all these things, he'll click a button. That means now this set of messages goes and hits the server, and server grabs all these messages which is coming for one particular customer, and he drops it into the data store and gives him a message saying that, hey, your enrollment was for banking and LPG gas was success, for Aadhaar card it is rejected, and for passport it is pending. So randomly, I'm generating those statuses on the server side just to simulate an end-to-end mainframe systems, including the ESBs and those kind of things. I mean, eventually, 6 months down the line, I'll definitely have one session with all those things, whatever I'm talking about, those service bus queues and all those things. But at this point of time, I'm simulating small things, and then I'll go there.
Yeah, I will give to Manpreet the whole.
Yeah.
But before that, we have one question from the comments. That's by James. He says, "What extension is that being used in Chrome to format the JSON like that?"
Oh, JSON viewer. It's a JSON viewer. This the Chrome extension. This is the one. JSON viewer.
Okay, JSON
Oh,
view. That's perfect.
I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sorry. I was showing it
It's
on the
totally fine. I think it's JSON
Yeah.
viewer is pretty fine. I'll just go
Yep.
ahead and write that in the comment section, right?
Yeah. Yep. JSON viewer.
Manpreet, so where you were? I thought you ghosted me.
So I have part two. I have part two of this next month, where I'm bringing in the Redis cache from Azure and Node.js and Angular 9 into the mix. So I will post that session after this.
Okay,
Swami, the
Manpreet, you would
speed
like
you
to
are
add?
going with, I think the Swami, the speed he is going with, will need to have a 1 day conference with just Swami.
I would love that. Well, actually, I asked it. I want to do the GRPC as a workshop for 4 hours, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and this Prakash Tripathi Sahab told that, Swami, I'm going to do it on March 14th or something, and suddenly Corona came. And
Okay.
I'm waiting. Even if it is, we have a webinar, I can do one workshop for 4 hours. So all the audience, they can join in, and I can go ahead and do a workshop where we can build everything from scratch. There'll not be anything. These people, all the audience, whoever join, they will install those gRPC packages. They'll develop the Hello World gRPC and the gRPC with SQL database. We can do a 4 hours, or I'm ready.
Swami, let's connect on that on a different note, and then actually we can do something for that. Yeah, we can have a workshop for. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you for joining us today. It was really informative. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you. So I'm
So everyone, we have our next speaker with us, Asanka Abeysinghe. He's going to talk about achieving true agility through programming. And Asanka, are you on the call?
Can you hear? Can you hear, Manpreet?
I can totally hear you, Asanka. How are
Okay,
you?
cool. Doing good. It's early morning here in
Oh,
California.
yeah, that's what I told Simon, that it's going to be very early morning for him.
Cool. Can you share my screen?
Yep, session is all on you. Thank you.
Okay. Hope everybody can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, cool. To set the expectations, this is not going to be a code level interactive session like Swami did. So it will be more thought leadership and concept oriented session, but the concepts are more pragmatic, I would say. So during next 30 to 45 minutes, what I'll do, I'll walk you through this concept that I believe, because I believe the true agility can achieve through the programmability. So So that's going to be the topic for today. So I'm Asanka Abeysinghe, and I'm the Chief Technology Evangelist at WSO2. So WSO2 is a technology company, and we provide open source middleware products. And today I'm not going to talk about WSO2. If you are interested, you can go to the website and grab more information. So let's look at the agility first. So if you look at the lot of people following agility and agile principles, the different kind of agile frameworks, and teams operate in different manners, like everybody having stand-up meetings and following dashboards, so on and so forth. So everybody in agile mode. But if you look at the actual statistics, the only 4% of these organizations getting the real benefit of agility. Even you label that you are following agile principles, that doesn't mean you are getting the benefit of the true agility. So that's a problem, and that's where we are trying to find the answer for this problem. So if you look at like when you follow agility and not in a proper environment to operate, it's like this, that you run a race car in kind of not in a proper surface. But to get the maximum out of the race car, you should run it in the race track. So that's the environment and other processes that associated with your agile framework works. And not only the race car and the road, you need a team as well. So if you look at in a formula race, like the pit crew is a good example for agile team. Everybody has to work together, and then you have to time it properly, share your experience, and then get the job done in a timely manner. So I position a true agile team also like a pit crew. So the developers love to have this agile flow smoothly, and if you look at if you were there when Swamy presented, it was a smooth flow for the developer, right? But that's only one experience. That you have to go into the development, you have to go into testing, and then probably you push the stuff into staging. So the problem there, like if you don't get that particular agility, then the developer productivity get low. So it's a really important thing to have that smooth process when it comes to programming. And in average, a lot of developers spend majority of their time to set up the environments and then connect to the subsystems. So having all these things align well make them really productive. And then it's about the team as well, right? Because you can't develop a system by yourself. It will be 10 to 15 agile team that work on the various tasks. So everybody has to be aligned with the common goal, and with the agile team lead, you have to make that flow. And then most of the organizations, so I think luckily to COVID, we don't have this experience much today, because there are less meetings. I think even personally, I am very productive with that. But in a typical office day, we sit around the table and waste a lot of time because of these different kind of organizational policies and structures that we have, and that is interrupting the flow. And I think the productive developer hates to go to these kind of meetings because they like to sit and get the code done. And the another thing that we have identified, even we follow the agile principles, sometimes it's not true agility. We call it as fast waterfall, or some people call it as agile as well. So what will happen, even the teams operate in agile mode, the architecture is not agile enough. So it's the layered architecture. What will happen with the layered architecture? Each and every layer owned by a special team. We call it as a center of excellence team. So what will happen with that, when within a layer, they might follow agility, but to get an application built from data to screen, you have to go through these different layers, and these different layers got gates, and gates are blocking the flow. And once you block the flow, the productivity gets reduced, so you can't find the true agility there. That's why people call it as fast waterfall method. So I saw this tweet. So when people say center of excellence, that he say, then I see a new silo, because center of excellence, it's a governance body most of the organizations follow, but it creates a lot of additional control and then doesn't allow developers to flow properly. And that's why, if you can remember, the concept of shadow IT came some time back, especially the time Amazon came into the picture, or when the Google Cloud came into the picture, that people started running their applications outside the corporate IT, because they can't deal with this center of excellence teams that try to govern too much. Then another thing is complex processors, like especially that's what we saw when service-oriented architecture came. Service-oriented architecture is great, but the specifications are too heavy and too much of governance there as well. So interrupted the flow heavily. And then the wrong technology stacks interrupting the flow as well. So these layered architecture that I drew some time back on the service-oriented architecture. So if you see, like, there are multiple layers and different moving components, so it is interrupting the flow for the developers as well. So that's where the Agile Manifesto define some of these concepts in their Agile Manifest, basically about the self-organized teams, and then how the processes should be aligned with the self-organized teams, and how the workflow should be optimized to have less frictions and make them more productive. Then let's look at the programmability. So basically, the definitions of programmability, like you get hardware out software, and then make it more automated, and then based on the automation, you get the programmability. So programmability started with devices long time back, and if you can remember, the programmable devices basically started allowing developers to program certain stuff. And I can remember a long time back, we were really amazed to do some changes to a refrigerator by writing some Python code. So like that, it started. And if you look at the history of this thing, it started with transistors, and then it went to these different kind of FPGA devices, PLDs, so on and so forth. So then the next level of programmability started with networking. I think as an organization, Cisco did pioneer in this area, and then they allow these dumb switches can be programmable, and different kind of network devices allow to add programs and make them programmable. So that was the second wave of programmability. And then the infrastructure, because these infrastructure providers started having a smooth flow, or how quickly you can provision environment made through different kind of mechanisms. So if you can see in this screen, multiple infrastructure providers are there. So they started providing the programmability for DevOps and TechOps people. And then the CI/CD stuff, because CI/CD related technology started allowing programmability to streamline the CI/CD processes. And then now we are in a container world, Kubernetes especially providing a lot of capabilities on this angle as well. So that was the third wave of programmability. And then started with the application layer. So let's look at how it helps, or how it works in the application layer. So this is a layered architecture of a typical application. And if you look at it today, this is advanced layered architecture derived from the first diagram. But today, with microservices and cloud native, you will see more distributed architectures, that things are not in layered architecture, everything running in a pool, and you will get data planes, control planes, management planes to govern and control the microservices and microservices related runtimes running in that pool. And I authored the architecture style. I did the presentation a few weeks back in a meetup as well. I call it as a cell-based architecture. The cells that you see are part of that, and if you are interested, you can find it. If you Google cell-based architecture with my name, you will hit the architecture paper. So then the concept of APIs are really helping here because APIs are the glue to do programmability, or how you program device or an application, and how important an API is. This quote is kind of emphasize it: a company without APIs is like a computer without internet, because that important APIs today for application development. So if you look at the APIs, it's not new actually. It started a long time back in EDI days. So we use different kind of APIs like EDI, file sharing, sockets, message queues like that. Then it went to the next level with message orientation, OLE, COM, Plus, COBA, RMI, web dev kind of technologies. Then it improved at service-oriented architecture level, like ESP, SOAP, PPEL, BAM kind of technologies. Then pre-Microsoft era, the REST principles, HTTP based APIs, AMQP, MQTT kind of IoT friendly APIs came into the picture. Now we see a lot of service meshes, gRPC, GraphQL, WebSocket, async APIs, different kind of request response type APIs, as well as publish subscribe related APIs are there. So this is kind of the evolution of the APIs. So now what will happen and how APIs help on this application architecture? All these layers in application architecture connected by APIs. People name these APIs or categorize these APIs in different names, but I use these utility APIs, domain APIs, and edge APIs. So basically, utility APIs are the one that provide data and data access technologies out as a API in OData or GraphQL or whatever type. And then the domain APIs expose business logics, especially service composition, microservices, those kind of capabilities. And then the edge APIs are the APIs that expose the APIs to the application developers with proper security, monitoring, monetization kind of features. And even in a distributed architecture, API is the glue that it links all these components and expose the individual component capabilities as a function. That's where it fit into the distributed architecture. And then the next concept we need to look at is the pipelines. I think most of you are familiar with the pipelines, because without build pipelines, we can't do anything. Today, what will happen once you commit your code to Git or whatever the source control system, CI/CD processes kick in, and then it takes the code from build to test, and then from environment to environment, and deploy it into production. That's where we can do rapid application development, and this is the key to productivity of a developer. And at the initial, at the beginning of the presentation, I explained how it is affecting the developers to set up an environment. So I call this concept pipeline tuned. If you have your environment pipeline tuned, when a developer starts a new project, he or she will do like a project name init, and then it will create the entire environment by connecting to all the dependencies. That's where we need to fine tune the pipeline, so that way it creates a lot of productivity. And pipelines are using the APIs a lot as well, because that way you can program different kind of applications, systems, and subsystems into your CI/CD pipelines. As example, if you have a code quality system, if it provides an API, you can just hook that into your pipeline. And then if you need to provision your VMs, or if you want to provision your containers, if the infrastructure supports APIs, you can just hook them and then make them programmable in your CI/CD process. So basically, what we are highlighting here, you can the programmability through APIs increase your automation capabilities. And let's take a look at the methodology. So now you have here you have different kind of architectures. Now you have a distributed architecture for you to be productive, and then the architecture components in an architecture connected with APIs that increase the programmability. And now you have the pipelines to automate everything that utilize the APIs and make everything streamlined in a pipeline. But you need a methodology to improve the agility as well, and use programmability as a way to achieve it. So let's look at this concept. I think everybody, when they talk about the methodology, they talk about people, process, and technology. So I extended it to into a different level. So it's about people, process, technology, but it required a foundation. I call a foundation as the culture and the architecture. So once you have this proper foundation, there will be an enhancement happening in people, process, and technology that will give you a proper digital alignment. So that is my belief on a proper agile framework and transformative structure that you required in your organization. Then with that, I define a maturity model as well, because where you should start and where you want to go, defining the maturity model is a maturity model with the different stages. In one side, I have this digital alignment, technology, process, and people. On the other side, I call it as monolithical, fast waterfall, API driven, early agility, and integration agile. And within each and every stage, you will see actions happening. Like as example, if you take the people side of monolith, everything is centralized, and then it's moving to a center of excellence, and then to API teams, decentralized and self-organized teams like that. So that is how you operate. So basically, idea here, how soon and how far you can move in this maturity model. I mean, moving to the right and achieve agility. So if you take an organization, a single organization might not align in the same pillar because they might be weak in people side, but improved in process and technology, but their digital alignment will be weak. So if you do an assessment, and you will find your alignment like this. Actually, I have published a self assessment as well, to ask few questions and then give you a report like this. A very useful tool to see where you are in your agile journey, and you can read this specification as well as a guideline to fill the assessment. And it's basically the iterative transformation that we are looking at here. Use the programmability pipelines and agile principles, and do in this transformation. What will happen in each and every stage, you plan, you implement, you review, and based on the feedback, you improve. And then go to the next level like that. You repeat it with the time. And once you do that, your maturity level will get increased. It is not an overnight result that you have to do this for a while, and you will get your agile improvement and affect your business. So the moving to the right, if you look at the different concept like the fast waterfall, API driven, and early agility, what you will see, APIs are playing a huge role here to have this disaggregated teams, disaggregated processes, and let them to operate in a self-organized manner. But even if you notice this diagram carefully, everything is layered. but this is not what we want. So the ideal scenario, we call it as a integration agile principle, that is basically pipeline tune. I explained what I meant by pipeline tune, and then it should have multi-environment based application lifecycle, like you should use blue green, a canary or a rainbow kind of environmental setup, and it has to be test driven. And then cloud native, you can't avoid it because we are in a world that cloud is first. And using open source helps a lot as well, because you can quickly be productive by accessing and contributing to these libraries, and it should follow a decentralized architecture. So the ideal situation, we call it as a composable enterprise or a cellular enterprise, and teams will organized in an agile manner, and you now have a distributed architecture, and all these different kind of groups connected through pipelines, and pipelines can be fine-tuned by using the APIs and programmable nature. So that way, what will happen, the distance between the teams and the consumers are minimal, so you can identify the your end users and enhance your applications and release in an iterative manner. So there are a few concepts that people follow. One is this modular organization concept, and then the line of interaction, moving away from this factory concept, and then have a edge concept that everybody is at the edge of the customer. And then you can use the iterative development, and you have to get feedbacks from your customers, like people or users. People say it as the net promoter score. You can find the detractors, passive feedback, as well as promoters as well. Then to do this, you need to reach the target, you need to get a good start. So that's the key. And that's where I authored this methodology document. It's a completely an open spec that released under CC4. Basically, you can even send a PR and upgrade, give an upgrade, or you can, if you like the document, you can give a gig star. So why I use this GPS device here, I see a methodology as a GPS device that will, you set your start point and then you set the destination, so it will guide you. But then again, a GPS can't take you to that particular destination. The road condition should be fair, so that's the environment. You should have a car, that's the team, and you should have a proper driver, that's a team lead, and then you should have a team that supports who's inside the vehicle. As well as you should be aware of the road conditions, and then again there can be reroutes in the road due to different kind of conditions. So you can take those detours, but the GPS device will guide you when you do a change in your path. So that's where a methodology will be really helpful for you to use it as a guide while you are in a transformation journey like that. And if you want to access the methodology, you can go to this Git repo and access it. And as I said, I welcome PRs as well as any Git stars as well. So, but how you measure like your methodology? So there are a bunch of ways that you can measure the success. Basically, a couple of measurements. First thing is something called the flow efficiency, because as I explained in that particular diagram with fast waterfall method, these different layers are blocking, so you have to wait. As example, as a developer, if you want to provision a VM or if you want to create a schema in the database, you need to wait for somebody to get it done. So in reality, the actual productivity time is less than the wait time. So with these principles and the distributed architecture, smart or smooth pipelines and programmability, you can reduce that wait time and increase the productive time. So basically you can increase the flow efficiency. And then as a result, you can improve the mean time to repair, basically how soon you can fix a bug and how soon you can add a new feature will increase with the agility you get, so that way you can help the business. So that's a really good indication that how you can show the business stakeholders, because they will not care that what technology that you use, what architecture that you use, or what kind of a methodology that you use. What they want is how quickly you can deliver the business capability using the technology that you are dealing with. So these are kind of really good measurements, and if you can build a dashboard, it will be a highlight of your team productivity as well. So in summary, what's happening, everyone in a journey towards agility, and then organization agility needs to catch up with the project agility, because if projects are not agile enough, organization cannot operate in true agility. So that means the basically a shift towards the self-organized teams that some people call at two pizza teams or agile course. And then you need to build this composable enterprise to be more flexible and be productive. And you can measure your productivity using flow metrics and MTTP kind of concepts to see how healthy is your transformation journey. And the programmability comes in handy and it increases the speed of your delivery, and then it increases the repeatability. So what we are asking or what we are looking at here as programmability, automate repeatable tasks and keep time for your workforce to be innovative, and then use that time to build innovative things and innovative thinking. So once you automate all these repeatable tasks, it will run smoothly. And then it will reduce the human errors as well, because now you have a smooth flow of things that need to be done in a sequential or parallel manner, but connect at some point and continue the flow. And it creates a lot of flexibility as well, because now you have enough room to add new features or add new concepts to your application development. And then it's about the innovation, because now repeatable tasks are running smoothly in this automation, and you have the flexibility and you are delivering quickly, so you can be innovative and provide more and more value to your organization or your core product team. So that's all I have lined up today. I think it's a quick presentation, but I assume you got some context on how you can use the programmability and how you can use the APIs, how you can use the pipelines, and how you can build true agility than being very theoretical on different kind of agile principles. That's why I believe the true agility is coming through the programmability, and as technical people we can help a lot the agile masters and product managers by automating everything. So if you are interested, you can connect me on these links and then ask any questions, and if you have any questions now, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have in your mind.
I think we're good, Sankhya. Thank you so much for speaking in.
Yep.
It was
Thanks.
indeed listening to the new methodology we're being used, and that's a nice approach. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone.
So let me introduce you all to our next speaker, and that's me, to be honest. Everyone, hope you're all doing great. Give me 1 second. I know it's COVID times, and these sessions are all helpful for everyone. So this time I thought, why not me also speaking in one of our conferences? So the thing is, we doing conferences virtually is like so that you can sit back, relax, and see what's new in technology, what's new, how people are doing and things in their life and their world. And one second. Yeah, and how are we actually targeting new technologies into our daily work culture? So right now, if you see my screen, I'm gonna present on Power Apps and Flow on Office 365. Myself, Manpreet. I'm a technology specialist for Cognizant. I'm also a Microsoft MVP on Office 365 servers and services, and I'm also a CSharpCorner MVP from last many years. I've been associated to CSharpCorner from last 7 years, I guess. Yes, 7 years. Yeah, and as I was telling before, being in CSharpCorner is like being in a family. If you any of you want to be a speaker, if you want they want you to be a workshop or something, just let us know and we'll do it for you. It's like that. So let's go ahead with it and see what Power Apps and Flows are. So everybody's talking about Power Platforms. Why? Firstly, Microsoft has made them free for COVID, just for COVID. But on the other cases, if you have a basic E3 Office 365 license, you will have Power Apps and Flows automatically with them. It's easy, it's simple, and hope I'm audible. Okay. It's easy, it's simple. And then the thing is, you don't have to worry about solutions or ASPs or deployment and things like that. It's very easy. It's easy to code. And I'm going to show you a code-free app rebuilding with SharePoint or SharePoint Online. You can use on-premise, online, and start to publish them on different media. So it's easy, and we'll see how we do that. So welcome to the session, everyone. Let's develop Power Apps and Flow. And I'm seeing your comments here. If you have any questions, just write in there, and then I'll answer to you on them. So if I'm not seeing you, just imagine I'm seeing on the other screen. So let's keep it that way and sit back, relax. I'm gonna show you a Power App development and a Flow development from the scratch, and we'll see how easy it is. Like for in like 45 minutes to 1 hour, we're gonna finish up complete app. So let's see. As I said, I'm gonna introduce you to Power Apps and Flows in Office 365. We're gonna develop a functional app using Power Apps, collaborate this Power App using a real scenario, and it's gonna be an employee platform. I'm gonna show you the capabilities of Power Apps and Flow, and my best part is to show limitations. Okay, so someone provides you something for free. It will definitely not be well enough if there's a product which is much expensive. But when you have limitations, we as developers we have ways to overcome them, right? That's what we're gonna overcome all those limitations, and I'm gonna talk to you about how can you overcome them and start using this for your client, for your personal basis, and things like that. So let me start with it. Okay. What is Power Platform? Power Platform is actually a collaboration of four tools: Power BI, Power Apps, and Microsoft Flow before, and now they have added Power Virtual Agents. So what is Power BI? We all know it's like for reporting and things. Power App is nothing but a UI model of a form. People are gonna work on them, and they're gonna talk about things and like so it's gonna be a UI form where you can fill in the details and get submitted. Similar way, Microsoft Flow slash Automate is called as workflows in local language. But we need to brand everything, and Microsoft will try to brand it. So they have named it as Microsoft Flow first, and now it's called as Automate. And then we have virtual agents. It's most like a chat agent. You can chat to a bot. Now it's so easy to build a bot. You don't have to write a code. It's just a question answer Q&A service. You can just go to Microsoft Virtual Agents and talk to it. It's that friendly environment. Coming to the next one is uh, why we are going to use Power Apps and why are we going to use the Flow. So right now, when we write PowerShell scripting or we write C# code, we need to call up a SQL server, try to add services, try to add DLLs, and call in the function. Right now, if I want to call a SQL server in my Power App, it's just a 30-second job. I just need to pass on my credentials, pass on my table name, and I'll be connected. And not only SQL, there are 3,000 plus applications which can be connected to your Power Apps. So you don't have to worry about how things are gonna be with connections, how I'm gonna get past my authentication and things like that. OAuth and API not required at all. Everything is inbuilt. And the best part of it is, for example, you don't have a database, and I just have Power App license. I don't have a database. SQL is so expensive. I cannot go and buy in Azure. Power Apps provides you an in-house database system also. It's called Common Data Model. You can use that. If not, if you have a little bit more money and you can have tools like SQL and Adobe and things like that, you can use connectors or slash gateways. You can connect to them and have your intercourse with the Power App and the gateways. They both can connect to each other and the platform will work. Don't worry, we're going to see how we are going to connect SharePoint as a connector with Power Platform, which are both different platforms. So Power Platform is never built for SharePoint. It was built for to be used for as an extensive third-party tool, which will be a form for everyone. Similar way for Flow. Earlier we had workflows for SharePoint, which was SharePoint Designer workflows, but they have locked it down, and now as Flow is gonna be for everything. For example, if I want to do a pay for post in Facebook, hi, it's Manpreet here, and I want to share that on Yammer, everything can be taken care by Flow or automate. It's that simple. You don't have to do a repetitive job in multiple platforms. So let me show that to you. So as I'm seeing this, it's actually growing. There are more creators, there are more organizations coming forward to it, and there are more countries working on it. So what is Power Platform? I think you would have an idea. What I'm saying is Power Platform is a UI, a form-based structure, which you can use it to build form, user entry forms, or you can use it for process forms. Like those were the days when people have to fill a form in with hand and a pen and submit it to your HR and administrative and things like that. Power Platform is a UI which gives you an inbuilt form. It can be accessible on all devices, whether it's iPad, iPhone, or like your Android phones and iPads. So it's and also in web. Not about you don't need to install anything. It's not if you install just one Power App platform, all the apps comes with a parallel basis, and then you can take that and play around with it. So it's free, of course, as I said. Just install this Power Apps and try to play around. We're gonna see how to play around with this. So let me go back to your slide here. Give me 1 second. Sorry. So okay. So as I was saying, Power Platform is gonna be a part of all your solutions for UI. You don't need to have a ASP.NET form. You don't have to have a UI UX core form. You are gonna save a lot of effort in building one, and not only that, you're gonna save effort on saving those codes, maintaining those codes, supporting those codes. So that's why these are so famous now, because clients they don't want infrastructure, they don't want admins to be handling the code structure, WSP deployment, and things like that. They are moving to Power Apps because it's easy. Everything is on the web. You don't need to actually do something special for deployment. You don't have WSP, PowerShell, or something like that. We're gonna see that when we are building it. So let's see Power Apps platform. How are we covering it? Now, Power Apps is a cloud environment. You can connect it from anywhere and everywhere. You don't have to be on a single device. Just have a browser, and that there you go. And you can have a Power Platform installed there. Connections are what make Power Platform or Power Apps much more stronger because you're gonna connect it to a data source, which is gonna be a target or a source. For example, for us is SharePoint. We're gonna connect our Power App to SharePoint, which you can connect and use it. Third one, which I said is a code-free apps. You don't have to write a single line of code, but we are gonna write a couple of line of codes because we are developers. We can't be without code. But if you just want to have a simple Power App, you don't need to write a code structure. You don't have to do anything. It's so simple. Again, I said it's available on web and mobile, any platform, any devices. Power App Studio is what we are gonna use the designer. It's gonna be a designer platform. We are gonna build a Power App platform. And then we have data models. As I was saying, if you have only the license of Power Apps, you can use a common data model, which is an in-house database, and they can store your small variables and in a similar table structure, and which you can call and push with Power Apps. I'm going to give you a brief about that when I'm opening the studio. And then you have custom APIs connectors, which you can use to connect to n number of platforms, n number of platforms. So there are three simple fundas of having Power Platform. First thing, have a source. Second thing, build your Power App. Third thing, connect it and publish it. And like that's it. It's so simple. Get a source or a target where you want to achieve something like store data or get data from. Build up a Power Platform using the studio, and then you have the instant way of publishing through web or through browser, and that app is available in all the medias and all the platforms. Nice, right? It's easy. It's so easy that you're gonna like it. That's my favorite. Let's do a demo, right? Let's go for it. And please ask me questions while I'm presenting. If I'm too fast, which I'll try and not to be, I'll give you a hold and we can answer your questions while I'm presenting this. Okay? So we are gonna develop our Power App right now live here. Let's do it. Okay, so everyone, whenever you have chance, right now I just want you to sit in a sofa and relax. Whenever you have chance, just Google powerapps.microsoft.com. Even if you Google Power Apps, it's gonna open up the whole studio for me. It's launching. So here it is, the Power Platform open. It starts free. It's written here. Just click on it and start playing around with it. There's no cost, nothing. And if you need a source, like for example, SharePoint, use the Office 365 developer program. They'll give you a complete Office 365 package for 3 to 6 months and an E5 license, which will have Power Apps. You can make that SharePoint as a source or a target and actually play around with the Power Platform. So let's go with it. I'm gonna present. This is my studio. Hope you're all seeing my screen. Okay. So this is my studio, and you see you have options here: home, learn, apps, create on the left side here. So this is my home screen, how it looks. All my Power Apps are being visible here, and because I'm the admin, and it's not necessary. Whoever is the owner of Power App, they are gonna see all these features there. You have a learning platform here. If you want to learn more and more, these are all here for you. Guided learning. You can go ahead and listen to the topics. There are videos and things like that. If you have any questions, join the community, ask them. They're gonna answer you. And if they all never answer you, I'm here for you. Directly in CSharpCorner, reach out to me and I'm gonna help you out with your Power Platform. Okay. So let me go to the Power Apps here. So as you see all my Power Apps in one place, right? So if I plan to design a new Power App, so if I click on create, you have three options of Power Apps. First is Canvas, second one is model driven, and the third one is Portal. Portal is something new. Let me talk about all. So we are all Scratch developers. We don't like to be using other people code, at least for me. I don't know about others. So what Canvas app gives you, Canvas is like a blank screen, a whiteboard. It will give it to you, and you start placing things. It's that easy. So when you go start placing things, you'll be able to see how easy it is to place my fields, how easy it to place my buttons and things like that. So there is Canvas app. Now when model driven. So for example, I'm an HR and I'm super bad in technology. And I'm not actually saying that all HR is bad in technology. I know some people who are really good in technology. So if there's someone who has a layman language or a layman experience on technology and they don't know about Power App, but they have to build something to keep someone happy in their company, so they can choose model driven. It's very robust platform. Is when try to build a model or a model driven app, you're gonna have to give them what kind of scenario you're gonna use. Is it a finance team is going to use it for some purpose, or HR is going to use for something, Is it an expense report model? Is it a leave tracker? It gives you basic templates which you can use, and when you choose them and you create an app, it gives you amazing model-driven UI, a platform which you can use and share it among your company, among your colleagues, and use it. But again, you won't have much control on that. Though it is your app, you created one, but it's gonna be like a complete fixture created by model driven, created by the Power App itself. So it won't be as compatible as you want, because sometimes what you think you cannot have the robot or the machine do it, right? That's why we do a scratch one. And now the third point, the portal from blank. Portal is nothing but an external Power App model. So right now, if you have a license of Power Platform, you can only access Power Platform, but Microsoft has given you a portal option. It's still on preview. You can just have one portal in one tenant, which is very, very less. So you can have one Power Platform and share that link with external people, and they can access the Power App without signing in. So it's like a Microsoft Forms we all use. It's gonna be a UI, but a better UI, better functionality, and but it's just one per tenant. So we have to wait until we have more licenses to have more tenant-wise basis. So let's hold on for that. So if you see there, this is one option where I have to choose one to build one, and then I can choose to start the data from. I can choose SharePoint, I can choose Excel Online, SQL Server, Common Data, and the list is so huge. Let me show that to you. And if I'm not having eye to eye contact with you, so that means I'm seeing on the other screens. So please bear with me for that. Okay, I click on the wrong thing. So and here below, if you see, this was data, and when you see from here the templates, there are already n number of templates which you can use to build, like a budget tracker, a site inspection, a service desk, a leave request form, a fundraiser, everything in one single platform. You can just click on it and build a Power App with it if you are hesitating to do a scratch one. But as I said, go ahead, log in, play around. It won't break anything. Microsoft is still gonna earn money. They're still gonna be a rich company, and we are not gonna destroy anything in them. Okay. So I have a question. I have faced issues during deployment, especially when Canvas app has flows in it. The connection in the target environment is disabled and require manual intervention to reset. I'll show you. Yes, there is that problem. So you have to do a manual intervention. So it's very easy, to be honest. When you do flows, okay, don't delete the connections. So I think if people who are not knowing what is flow is, let me come back to you on this later. So what flow is, when you add a connection, for example, you logged in with your SID account and you're using a UAT account or a prod account, just add that account. Don't delete the previous one. Because when you delete it, it changes everything. So add a prod account, add a new connection first, and then just choose a production. Do not delete the old ones. When you delete the old ones, you need to set up the whole connections again. So when, for example, whenever I'm posting something from one environment to another environment, like UAT to production, UAT credentials of that connector of that flow will always be there, and I just add another connection. But when it comes to use it, go to the flow settings. You'll be able to use the new environment rather than the old one. Okay, so let's do that with that, and let me know if you have any issues with that. So I was talking about data. Okay, so let me come back here. So this is data model. As I said, if you have a Power App license and you don't have any other licenses like SharePoint or SQL or something, you can have your own data structure. You can have your own tables, own entities, own open sets. It creates a similar way like SQL works, because both Microsoft platform and the SQL is from Microsoft. So it's got to be the same. If you see my screen, it's all the new entities you can use. There are already fields available. You can reuse them, or you can create a new one. That's totally acceptable. You can also import data, import an Excel sheet if you have option sets. So there are a lot of varieties inside the OS. So you can have your in-house SQL database rather than going out and connecting to another platform. But yeah, it's not going to be a robust like SQL. It's going to have a basic table functionality for you to save the data. Okay. Similar way, let me go to this function, export to data lake. Data lake storage is becoming very famous now. Why? Super cheap. It's $0.0018 per GB, which is like super cheap, to be honest. It's like in Indian currency, it's like 5 paisa or 3 paisa, something like that, which we don't even have a currency. Just so you can have an import of those. So right now, what I was talking was connections. So let me show you a new connections. So if you see, these are the various sources of connections you can have your data from. See, my scrolling list is not gonna get over. There are so many, from Bing to bots to Blogger to Google to WordPress, SN number. These all can be your source, these all can be your target. You want to get somewhere from something, push it to somewhere. These are so many connections. And what you're doing to bring them is, you're not gonna write a API code, you're not gonna call an API or OAuth authentication. Just click on them, that plus icon here, just click on that. It's gonna ask you to open up your API key, just put in there, put your credentials, and there you are, you're connected to your source. Everything is gonna come in. Super simple, right? So let's go with building one, but I need to show something more flow. So you have an integrated direct integration here with the flow. Flow is nothing but, as I said, workflow. You can also go to flow.microsoft.com if you just want workflows and you want to play around with that. So what is workflow? It can be a lot of things. For us SharePoint people, it will be like, when a new item is created in SharePoint or modified, send an email to this person, or it's a process for approval that once this manager approves, it goes to VP, it goes to SVP. Those can be all different kind of flows, and sending for email, sending for notifications, sending for approval. So there are a lot of variations you can use flow for. AI Builder, this is something amazing. We now have artificial intelligence on Power Apps. I have some demo on my different environment, which I'm going to show you. Right now, it's not going to show here. So you will really like it, how it is working, how things are working. So these are my last 5 minutes, which I'm going to take you around a complete live app, which is working with a number of things, and we'll be able to see that. Okay, so let's go and develop app. So I'm going to create on create. So as I said, I'm a very bad guy. I won't take model driven. I need some effort and I need to put my time and code in my Canvas app. I'm going to choose a Canvas app from blank. So they give you option. You want a tablet or a phone. The mode is the thing. It's gonna, if you choose tablet, it's still gonna work on your devices. If you choose tablet, it's still gonna be working on your web browser. Similar way, if you use phone, it's gonna work on all the environments. It's just the layout. The phone layout will be small, and the thank you. And if it's a phone layout, it's gonna be small, and it's gonna an iPad layout, it's gonna be a bigger screen. So we're gonna choose a tablet so that we all people can see it. So we're gonna give it a name, CSharp Conference. Virtual Meet. And I click on create. You ask me a question while I'm presenting, while I'm creating one, I'll be totally available to answer you. Okay. My studio is loading. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes here. Let me know. So this is my whiteboard. As I said, me as a developer, I'm gonna have a whiteboard. I'm gonna build everything from the scratch. So building anything from the scratch is, I'm joking. It's Power Platform. It should be easy, right? How will this guy make a whole Power app in just 1 hour? So again, yes, it's not gonna be from the scratch. It's because we are using connectors. Connector is gonna help you build up the form. A lot of things. So on the left, if you see, it's a tree view. Tree view is nothing but all the parameters. Like we all have Visual Studios, right? When you add a combo box, single line of text box, and things like that, they all come up on the corner. It's like a drag and drop system. So whatever fields, whatever forms I'm gonna add are gonna come up on my left. And why? Because when I'll click on them, for example, I'm clicking on the screen one. Screen one is just blank white screen. It helps me to see the properties. I can change the background image, the image position. I can go to advanced and see where the data is coming from. Is it visible? I can change the height and width. So all the properties of all fields are going to come in here. Okay. So let me go ahead with, and even on the top here, if you see new screens, there are plenty of options, and you can have new screens coming up on the media. You can have a blank screen, a scrollable screen, list screen, success. These are all templates. You can use them. So screens are nothing but a whiteboard. So for example, I have a whiteboard with all the fields here, and I come in here, I fill my name, email ID, and things like that, and I click on submit. My what should happen now? So what we can do is when you submit, you can show them a thank you message, hey, thank you so much, and then or you can have another form you want them to fill in. For example, that can be a personal form or an official form. You can have multiple forms in multiple screen, or you can have a thank you message, or you can ask them to move out. You can once they submit, it goes to google.com. Easy, right? Similar way, you can insert fields here. So right now, for example, I didn't had a connector or I didn't have SharePoint, and I was going have to be using a UI which is from here, and I'll have an in-house database. I'm gonna use it from here. So let's go here. If you see my screen, you have input parameters. We have a button. I'm clicking on them so that you see it how it's working. I just clicked on a button comes in. I'm gonna click on a text input field that comes in. I can go ahead, put a drop down field that's gonna come in, and I'm gonna choose a date picker field. So if you see, all the fields, all the various level of fields you want on your forms are already available here. You don't have to write a console or call a app or something like that. Everything is available here. So what we are going to do is you can either map it to your SharePoint, to SQL, to your in-house databases, n number of data houses, or use a form parameter directly. Okay, what I'm going to use it, I'm going to use a form parameter. Similar way, you can have a data table here. If I click on here, you can have a whole data table coming from SQL loading onto your Power App. So SQL UI is not eco-friendly, right? A layman like a typewriter like me who doesn't know technology, I cannot come in here and see what is the SQL server, TO table, so many tables. I can have an in-house table here. I can choose an account and have my whole SQL data table demos here in a perfectly neat aligned way. Similar way, I can have media from barcode reader to videos to streaming and everything here to chart structures for reporting. I can have all Power BI reporting up here in my Power App, and you have some icons here to decorate your app, like save button, delete button, and things like that. And then there is custom. You can add new custom components. Super simple, right? Let's do it. But I'm not going to do this. Why? Because I'm using SharePoint, which is again a Microsoft product. So when there's a brother sister product, there's always a compatibility, right? So again, brother sister are meeting today, and I'm gonna make a platform for them. So Power Platform with SharePoint gives you more benefits. It's not a UI friendly, it's more of a UI friendly environment than an out of the box, which is a lay old form. So let me show that to you. So I'm going to choose a connection. So if I come here, insert, I'm going to choose forms. It gives me two options, edit form and a display form. So you'll say, where is a new form? When a new item is created, where's a new form? Don't worry. That's what I wrote. We are developers. We can't be away from coding. Write one line of code for them. So let me choose in edit form. So that's my edit form structure. It is blank, right? Of course it will be blank. Why? Because I have not added a connection. So inserting here a label here. My Power App should not be lonely. I want to give it a name. And people ask me any question. I'm seeing a chat here live here. Please go ahead and let me know if you have. Until then, just sit back and see how the app is going to get developed. Yeah. So I added a word, a simple added a label here. Label looks so dull in color. Just your expertise on Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Color it up. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna color it up. Am I writing any code here? Am I writing any CSS? The answer is no. I just use it as a way Word, Excel, or Power presentation is being used. I centralized it, I made it bold, I made it look better without writing a single line of code. There you go. So now where it's showing me the form isn't connected to any data. Yes, that's right. I have to connect to my SharePoint. So what I did is I took a little time from backend. This is the only thing I've created. Okay, I'm not gonna cheat you. I'm gonna develop a whole complete app for you. So I've created a custom list. It's a normal custom list. I've added 5 fields here. If you see, it's a normal list. I have called this Cognizant Talent Portal. Sorry, that's a site name. And I've called this a SPS. If I refresh this again, I'm telling you, I'm not cheating you. There's no data. It's a blank list. Nothing up here. I'm going to choose this list, and this is going to be my connector. So my source is going to be SharePoint. My platform is going to be Power Apps, and my target is going to be you, who is going to learn how to make a Power Platform in just whatever time I have remaining. 45 minutes. Let's do that. So let me come here. I'm going to choose a connection. I'm inserting a data source, if you see. So I have so many options, right? So when I showed you so many options of share connectors I have from n number of environments, choose whatever you like, and whatever you feel is easy and cheap for you. As I said, to play around with this, if you don't have a database source, you can even use a normal Excel sheet. If still that's complicated, go to Office 365 developer account. It gives you a free account. Play with it. It's going to give you a SharePoint as an admin portal. Go there, create a list, create a number of fields, and then start loading them on your Power App. Like I'm gonna load now. So I'm choosing SharePoint. I'm gonna click on here. You can add a connection. Right now, it's already taken my ID. Just pass your ID or your email address. It's gonna give you a list of data. I'm just gonna authenticate it. Give me 1 second. We are so secure, and though we need it in this kind of world, I'm gonna just check that option so I don't have ask me again. So okay, so I'm gonna just pass this URL here so that I can get my list and associate them as my connection. As I see, I already have it here, Cognizant Talent Portal. Or else, if you don't just put in your URL here, the site URL, it will give you an option. Just select that. It's gonna choose all the list I have. Right now, my list name is SPS. I'm gonna choose that. All the lists will come up here. Easy, right? It's gonna come up, fetch all the list, which is gonna be my data source. And I click on connect. Give it 10 seconds. It's loading on the left, if you see, and now it got loaded. I see my SPS here. Now let's go in here and connect this. So we're gonna go back to my left navigation. I'm gonna select the forms. I'm gonna go to form properties. And right now, if you see my data source on the right is none. I see SPS there. So I selected that, and now the magic comes in. Let it come, then only I'll tell you what's the magic. There you go, tada! So what happened now, whatever SharePoint list columns I had, it automatically came to my Power App. I did not have to go and insert all the data input parameters, the calendar parameters and things like that. All the fields are up here for me without doing any hard work. Told you we are lazy developers. What to do? We can't help it. So all these parameters comes in here. I can choose which fields I want, which fields I do not want, but there's a problem. So you can't go back to my SPS list and create another column. It won't come automatically. Told you, magic is a little brother sisters have fight, right? The similar Power Platform and the SharePoint has a little limitation. So whenever you do a new one, make sure you have all your columns you required. You can add them here. And if not, not to worry. Come up here on this form. I'm gonna click here. You'll see this option on the right, edit fields. You can see it, I guess. So when I click on that, you'll have an option add field. So it will give you an option to add more fields, whatever new ones you added here. There's a way. Okay. So let me go back here. So this is my app. So let me just put up things here. I don't want this edit link. I can just do select and delete. It's so simple. So if you see, this is my form parameters. I see all my forms here. I can have on a column structure. Do I need all the fields in one column? Do I need them to be on two columns? I can design it the way I want it. I can choose my layout. Right now it's in vertical. I can make it horizontal. Fields come next to your labels. That's the only difference. My default mode, if you see here on the right side, is edit. I'm gonna make it new. It's not that simple. Okay. So if you thought that just making new it'll work, it will work. Definitely it will work. It's gonna be a new form. But when somebody submits a form, somebody has to open, right? So when you open that form, it's not gonna be on a new mode. It should be on an edit mode. So that's a one-line code which I'll show you what to write and where to write. So similar way, you can make this form visible. You can color it around, border, and play around as much as you want. So now let me preview this. You have an option here to preview. Just see the plus icon here, the play button. If I click on here, this is my preview. It looks beautiful, right? Nobody's answering because it's muted, but it looks beautiful. And let me open up a normal out of the box form. So this is my out of the box form. It's not bad, but you know, right? This cannot do rules. So for example, I chose a configuration that when uh, an employee chooses his designation as a director, these fields should come, or when somebody wants to do some rule or magic or hiding and showing fields, those won't come in my out of the box form until I have to do a JavaScript, which is again a pain. I have Power Platform here for that. I can have n number of tools on basis of selection of technology. I can hide fields, show fields, and things like that. Super simple, right? Let's go back to the form. So now I have my form, I have my every ready. So you can still give it to a person to use it. Why? How will that person submit it? Where is the submit button? I can see one. So Power Platform and SharePoint, there are two ways. So if you see my list here, let me close this. So when you go to the modern view of SharePoint list, they will give an option to have a Power App in here. If you see my screen. Right now, you can create an app which will be directly associated to your list. And all the functionality will be coming up in here. Like when I clicked on new button, this out of the box form loaded, it will load the Power App if you have a Power App there. Right now, it doesn't have a Power App, so it doesn't load Power App. But this will be an in-house bonded platform with this list. There are a lot of benefits of it because when you make a Power App in here, you don't have to write even that single line of code which I'm talking about for editing a form or viewing a form or creating a new form. It's going to be more like a platform which is working like out of the box form and it's associated to your list. Yeah. But that's not what we want. We want to have a portal app. So what's the difference between portal app and SharePoint app? SharePoint app is directly listed to your app. So when somebody has to fill in something or somebody has to edit something, they will have to come to your list, click on new or edit from the item and work on the Power Platform. Right now, what my company, like for example, we work for very content or data loaded companies like banks or healthcare or life sciences. They don't want people to go into your back source. Even though you can control the backend with permissions and things like that, still people fear that somehow the somebody will be able to see my content. So what's the best part of using this portal is this portal is gonna be a free end app. Just use this app and put it somewhere on your home page, on your navigation, anywhere. And a person, end user, a typewriter like me, is gonna come in here and it's just gonna submit the form and you click submit and you go back to google.com. You won't even know the backend is SharePoint. So right now you all are seeing because I am telling you the backend is SharePoint. I showed you this is a list, I'm bringing it out. For a UI, a typewriter person like me, I'm just gonna see this is a form, okay, I fill in this detail, and I submitted it. It went past and it said thank you and done. So he doesn't know the data went to SQL, the data went to SharePoint, where the data went. That's why we build these apps for major clients, and they always love them because we give them the security, same funder which I gave it to you, that nobody will know where the source is coming from, right? So similar way, when I come up, but yeah, if it's an in-house project and you don't have to put much effort on building a portal, just go in here, customize this list, and it's gonna be the same way. All Power App functionality, the rules, regulation will be working the same way. And best part is you don't have to add a submit button. It's already gonna be there. It's gonna use the out of the box save button, and that will be your submit button. Okay, so here I am. So when I come to the parameters, right, all fields are locked fields. If I come here, if you see my attachment, see, you have to unlock to change it. So if you're an admin and you have like somebody is trying to develop something and you're not able to see, you'll see these blurred images. Don't worry, you just have to unlock them. Once you unlock them, the blurred fields, the disabled fields get enabled. So I'm gonna just show you how easy it is to drag and drop. I'm just stretching it on my own free will. I'm not writing a code. I'm not doing a CSS as I said to you. I'm just doing my own stretching as and when required. I'm just playing around with the fields. I'm gonna extend this a little bit more. Now I'm gonna add a button. That's gonna be called my submit button. And I think I should have a close button or a cancel button, and I'm gonna add a cancel button. Okay. So I'm gonna name this as submit. And I'm gonna name this as cancel. Now, stating the name as submit and cancel still it won't do anything. Fine. So let's go back to the submit button. So when I go to the properties, you have a lot of properties here on the right side. This is a property window. I'm gonna see on select. So on select of my submit button, the name is super simple of the parameter submit form. Which form? Form one. Simple. Why form one? If you see on my left name, the form which I brought from SharePoint is form one here. Okay. So that form one comes in. So whenever somebody will click that button, the form will come submit the data in backend with my SharePoint. Similar way, cancel. So if somebody cancels the form, what should I do? On the select of the cancel, I'm going to launch the app to google.com. You can hard code it to any platform you want it to go. Yeah. So that's my cancel button going to do. Now, if you say, let me preview it. Power App is ready, right? I'm going to submit the data and things like that. No, not yet. There is still a bit. So now what you have to do is on the form parameter. So once somebody submits and he forgets to fill in a required field, right now my title field is required, it's gonna throw an error and that this is a required field, please go ahead and fill in. But if it's a successful submission, people should be notified. Like still we are growing in a technology era, but still we need to know whether my payment went through or whether my submission went through, right? I'm gonna add another screen. I'm gonna use a template. Success. Again, that's just a success because already available here. I'm using it. You can always change it. So it shows me this was successfully completed. There's a tick here, and I'm gonna add another button here, which will close the app. So I'm gonna name this as close. And on select, it's gonna launch google.com. Simple, right? And I'm also exiting it. So let me put an exit command here. On Office 365 users can use Power App applications. You can, if you have a tenant, you can build one external Power Platform using the portal, which gonna be one, and yes, they can use that one, not these platforms. So yes, here is my Power App. My close screen is ready. My form is ready. What am I missing now? So on success, Right now it's false. So on success, what should happen? We should go to one screen to another. So navigate. See, it's so simple command, right? It's already coming up here. The IntelliSense is already bringing it out. I just have to write in and it comes. So navigate to screen 2. If you need a transition, I'm going to use a cover. Transition is right, the flashback, the screen coming from right, left, cover, left, like that. So you can decorate your app. I'm going to just use a cover. And you can have on failure, what should happen, on reset, what should happen, so many ways. So right now, my main thing was when I said you on the form, okay, if you see the form mode is dot new, right? And but what will happen if I want to edit the form? This form is always going to open in a new mode because the new mode is new. First, let me save my app because I don't trust myself. I might close the browser. So I'm going to go in here. The name is CSharpCorner Virtual Meet. See how simple it is to save and publish an app. Okay, I just went to here. I just click on save. I can choose an icon which will show my Power App, and you can put a description here. I click on the save button. Okay, so you have two options. Either you can save your app on a computer or you can save your app on cloud. Right now I'm saving on my cloud. Why do I have to save my computer? I'm already having a Power App license. So I click on C# on a virtual beat. I click on save button. Saving to Power Apps. There you go. It's ready. So if I have to publish this now, I'm just gonna make a little change here so that it knows that I have did a change. So I go back here, file, save, publish. Publish this version. That's it. All my apps are ready to share. I can just go and click on share and the app will be like readily available for everyone. Simple. Did I have to do a WSP deployment? Did I have to do a off-hour deployment? Did I have to wait for a change control management system to come in here and give me a time slot to do a Power App development to my production? Nobody, nothing. It just went in a button click, and my Power App can be moved to production or a UAT or a SIT environment in just one simple click. And you can just click on send an email invitation. They will all receive a new Power App has come in, thank you, and things like that. Easy, right? We are still not over. So let's go back here. So I want to tell you, so this form is ready and it's going to come up here and show you the new environment, which is a new environment, new form. How about I want to edit something? How about I want to view something? There is basic code, okay? One single line of code which you're going to write in here. Where? Here. So let me click on this form here. Parameter. I see form mode.new by default, right? So I'm going to just change it to something like if you see the IntelliSense is working perfectly fine, if value my param. So we all SharePoint people have IDs as a param value. If my value param string ID is greater than 0 or more than edit or more than new. Packet and formal and things like that. And there you go. So what I did was, so if my param ID, okay, if my ID is greater than 0, so when you open the Power App, it's going to check if it's a new Power App, if it's just a link you're opening from your left navigation or your home page, it's of course gonna be a new one. But if you're using this link and opening through SharePoint, where the item is already created, and you click on that item, it's gonna check if the ID is greater than 0, open the edit form, like true. If not, false. So if functionality works here in Power App is if this is true, do this. If not, do that. Similar way, you could have n number of functionalities for view form and things like that, and you're gonna do that. So the same thing, I'm gonna put that on item level also. I have it already written here. I'm gonna just put it here. So similar thing is gonna do for my item level, right? That was my form level. So if an item is already created and greater than 0, it's gonna bring out the edit form. If not, it's gonna create out a new form. Similarly, we can have one more parameter for view form. So right now, when you see this, you can say, yes, my Power App is ready. How it is ready? It is saving the data. Yes. It is editing the data. Yes. It's gonna bring out the data. Yeah. So everything in one go. So let me go back here. I'm gonna click on File, Save. I'm gonna publish this. So my form is ready. So best part of this is sharing everything. All the versions are being shared. Everything is being here, and you don't have to worry. So if I pushed in a wrong code, you can always go back here and see all your versions, and you can always restore the back version. Super simple, right? You don't have to worry my WSP code, and we have versioning on code, but again, you have to maintain it somewhere. You have to have your own version controllers. But here, you don't have to worry. The Power App is going to take care. It's showing me my version 3 is live right now. You can always change it and make something else. This as a live version or something as a live version. It's that simple. And you get the date and time, when it was modified, when it was published, and things like that. Similar way, let me come back to the app. So this is my Power App which we created. This is all the details. Who is the owner, created, modified by. This is the link I was talking about. So when you click on this link, my app is going to understand that this is a new form. It's going to open up a new form. And this link, you just have to incorporate it to your home page, left navigation, any global navigation you want. There we have our first Power App built in front of you. All from the front. You didn't have to do anything. Nice, right? So let me go back here, and we're still not done. So these are all the versions you have enabled here. Then I see connections. So it will show you what all connections you have been using. Right now, I'm just using SharePoint. You could be using email, you could be using Outlook, you could be using Office 365 Outlook, you could be using Facebook Gamma, anything. Like whenever a new item is created, share this, share that, and things like that. Similarly, we have flows. Right now, there's no flow. We are going to create one. And then this is analytics. It's going to show you how many people have come in here, how many people have submitted the form, how many people are submitting the data. So all in one platform. You don't have to go in. So this Power BI report is loading. So if somebody asks you how many people are launching your app, you can see there how many people are working, how many people are active users. You will have all these in one, everything. That's good, right? So let me go back to the app now. So our app is ready. Let's go ahead and fill in one. So this is my demo first data. That's my title. My role is demo. And I'm just choosing a technology of 65, my company, CSharpCorner. Not necessary, attachment is not a mandatory field. I can just choose not to. I'm going to click on submit. There you go. This was successfully completed. So a typewriter person like me came in here. I submitted my form. I got a notification that my form is successfully submitted. I go out. I click on close. And I'm going to google.com. Simple, right? It's simple. So let me go back here and I'm going to come in here. So what happened now is on my backend, if I refresh my SharePoint list, there you go. My data is up here. My demo first data, my role, technology, everything got back saved in my SharePoint. Nice, right? What did we do? Did we do a lot of writing of code? Did we do a lot of things? No. One single line of code, and this is where we are now. right? Simple Power Platform. That's why we as people are using it. It's being used so many Power Platform. Right in my myself organization, I have some 500 plus Power Apps, and this is just a basic app which I'm showing you. There are like 200 plus fields. There are approval sections, sections hidden or shown based on requirement, based on status. So many, so much powerful Power Apps, and there we are. So this was our whole Power App structure. We didn't have to do anything. Simply loaded come in here. So now you will ask me if I edit this form, what is gonna open? It's gonna open an form. Why? Anybody? Any answer? No, because you're all on mute. Because the Power Platform is working on a portal which is a third party. Third party tool app is just pushing the data. It's not actually showing an UI or a source where the power is getting saved. So nobody knows where SharePoint is. The data is getting saved. So me as a SharePoint admin, I come in here, I see my list here, and now I can either choose an option to open out of the box form and do my edits. But why? When I have a Power App on. So there's a way for that. That's where it's a small tricky way which we do. I'm gonna show it to Flow. While doing the demo of the Flow, we'll see how that tricky way works for you. So let me come back here, and where is my presentation? So what is Flow? As I said, Flow slash Automate. The new name is Automate and Power Automate. So what is it? It's just a workflow. It's gonna be a flow process structure which you're gonna use, and it's gonna connect your Power App with various environments. So right now for a SharePoint people, whenever a new item is created, it's you can send an email, it can post in Facebook, hey, a new item is created, or LinkedIn, Twitter, SQL servers, Adobe, Cosmos DB. You can go in back to Azure Data Lake storage, so many things. The data, whatever you are pushing through, can be saved to n number of platforms. If you want some data, you can do that also. It's a reverse base. If you want some data from somewhere, again, Flow. So you have so many connectors. Connectors is what is making Flow powerful. And if you see my next screen, there is hundreds of templates which you can use. If you see Yammer, Box, Facebook, Box, SFTP, MailChimp, everything. It's so many. There are like n number of things. So when you go ahead, again, this is free of cost. Go to flow.microsoft.com. If not, just come to Power Apps and you'll see the flow section there on the left side, which we saw together. And that's how it's gonna be. Now, what do you need flow for? Simple four things. We need a trigger, a connection, an action, a template, a trigger. What should trigger a flow? Like I'm sitting here, what should trigger me to get up? I'm thirsty. So that's a condition. So I have a trigger. So I got up because I'm thirsty to get my water. What was my connection here? Connection is me getting thirsty and I need water which is far away from me. That's a connection. So I'm actually trying to connect to a third party connection like SharePoint or Outlook or anything, and that's gonna connect to my flow. Now what do I do in action? I just go in there and fill that water glass and drink it. That's my action. Here action can be send an email, update an item in SQL, send a notification to Facebook, Twitter, those kind of platforms, like third party platforms. And templates. What is templates going to do with me? Okay, again, I saw we are lazy developers. Okay, we want to write code, but we want to have some fixations, right? Templates it gives you. So there'll be an automatic template for SharePoint, Box, Facebook, all the famous UI platforms. Why? People are using it so much, you don't have to have an effort to do everything from the scratch. So, for example, when I'll be building for one for SharePoint, I'm going to use a template which is going to say, do you want to use a SharePoint template? I'll say yes, and there will be a lot of SharePoint templates. So you're going to see. So let's not waste effort and time, and let's do a live demo. Okay, quick. Because I need to actually talk to about limitations. That's my favorite topic, as I said here, because you need to have ways to overcome the limitations. So as I said, go back to your Power Platform, click on the flows here. You don't have to go. Either you can go here or you can do flows.microsoft.com. And if not, you can just go here from directly. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we are on the flow. Simple start. If you see flow and I click on new, I have a various ways to do it. Create from a template, do automated from a blank, instant from a blank, like something like you want to test right now. I want to send an email to 1,000 people, do an instant flow right that way, right workflow. If I want to do a schedule one, like time on jobs, those were the days when we used to develop time on jobs, C sharp time on jobs, ASP.NET, like n number of code line structure basis. Right now, the timer job is on my screen here, ready to be built in like 5 minutes. It's that way. You can have a UI flow, which is working from UI to UI, and you can have a business process, which is like approvals if you want to do like various level of approval, hierarchical approval, and things like that. So let's not waste some effort. I'm gonna choose an automated. Let's do automated from blank. Yeah, I think automated from blank is okay. So as I said, I'll give a flow name, CSharpCorner. Okay. I'm gonna choose. So as I see, you have options already on SharePoint, on OneDrive, on Outlook, and there are more like Outlook, Azure, SQL. Just go on. They're big list. For me, I just need when a new item is created here. When an item is created in SharePoint, I choose that as my trigger. I click on create. So when a new item is created, I need to make it provide the link where and what it should do. So I have my link here. I think, yeah, that's my link. So I'm gonna choose my list, my site. You can just copy paste. It's that simple. I'm gonna choose my list. I'm gonna choose my list name. You have various other options if you want to limit it or have a threshold view and things like that. Or you can just come in here. So this is my trigger. So I have a trigger when an item is created, trigger something in SharePoint. What it should trigger, you should know that, right? I'm gonna add a new step here. So my new step is gonna be email. Send an email. I can choose various options. I can use Gmail as in my SMTP server, Outlook, Office 365, notifications, SendGrid, n number of platforms. Again, they give you so many options that you might get confused. I already have Office 365 Outlook. I'm going to use that. So again, you have so many options. You want to send an email, you want to delete a contact, you want to do something whenever a new item is. I want to send an email. Let's send an email to people. So I'm sending an email to myself. I'm going to say, hi, testing. And I'm going to write a subject or something. Hello world. Simple. I selected everything. I didn't have to pass my SMTP server, get my code to BB, CC, and so many stuff. I just put in my advanced features I have here. You can have attachments, you can have CC, BCC options here. I don't require them. I want to do one more thing. When you send an email, I also want to update an item. Why are we updating an item? I want to show you that. So if you see, I have an option update item directly on SharePoint. I can just put in the same URL and the same list. And I can choose the same ID. So what should be my ID? I'm going to choose this list ID. If you see, it automatically comes in all the parameters I have on my SharePoint list. And it shows me all my fields like title, role, technology, company, edit. Which one do I have to update? I want to update my edit link. Now what I'm going to put in my edit link. So let me show back to you here. So this is my power up, okay? This is standalone machine playing around, okay? So if I put this link up on my web browser and put it anywhere, it's gonna come up here as an off link, okay? Now I want to use the same link for edit and view for admins. I don't want admins to use out of the box form. I want them to use a SharePoint field. Again, if this was a Power App built on the SharePoint compatible, they would have click on edit item, the edit item, edit Power App would have opened automatically. But no, not that way. So what we did now here was, so what we did now here was like we just selected an option that no, I want my portal, my Power App to be a standalone. My people, my organization should not be knowing it's coming from SharePoint, SQL, or things like that. So what we do is we provide this standalone machine link directly on my parameter of this. So if you see this URL, okay, let me copy this URL. This is my new link URL. I'm going to open this on a notepad. I'm falling short with my time, so I'm just going to rush this down, and I hope my screen is visible now. So let me do a format. So this is my URL. Every Power App will have a URL designated to it. If you see, this is how it looks, and this is how my Power App. So let me copy this URL. This is the actual Power App URL, not the web URL. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it on my notepad. This is my Power App URL. So if you see, it provides the detail of the app, and it also provides the detail of a tenant ID it is coming from. Earlier, this was not there. They just added a new one because probably people want to know which tenant is this Power App posted. So it's easy. You can have a tenant name there. I'm gonna remove it. I don't need it because if I load this Power App right now with just this, it's still gonna load. I don't have to pass my tenant details. Loading. See, it's still loaded without my tenant credentials. Okay, so let me go back to that. So what I'm doing here is this is a question mark here. We all have questions, even we had questions. So again, this was a limitation, and this is how we found it. So what we did is just put ID equal to. Okay. How is this ID equal to gonna help you in opening edit form? It doesn't even pass a parameter. So when you will go to this update item flow, I lost it. Okay, yeah. So when I'm putting this edit link here, ID equal to, I'm gonna pass my ID parameter also. So the URL, how it's gonna open is, so let me show you here on the backend. So this is my list, right? The ID number is 17. Okay. So what if I use this on my notepad and I click on hint here 17 and I try to open this? What happened? Any other new magic? The new magic is all my data, all my SharePoint list item data is gonna populate on my Power App instead of the out of the box form. See, demo first, demo, CSharpCorner, and things like that. Everything came up here. I didn't have to do anything. Simple, right? So this link, you can put it, you can create a column on your SharePoint list called edit link or view link, and you can pass parameters like this. The way we are passing. See, ID equal to 17 saving automatically. Similar way, you can have a view link and things like that. And based on the permission level, you can show them or hide them. So when an admin is going to come into the SharePoint in the backend, he's just going to click on this link, and even he is going to see Power App, not only the front end UI person who came in. So both of them will be able to see the Power App and with the data loaded in and all the functionality coming. Nice, right? So let me go back quickly to the flow. So my flow is ready. I've done everything. I'm just updating this to see my program, and simple. I don't have to do any workflow publish or something. Just click on save. And I want to check whether my flow it has no error, no warning, perfectly. I think I'm a little good developer. I didn't have one. So I click on save and it's ready. So when I come in here, I click on my Power App and I'm gonna create a new link, new item. Testing. Technology is SharePoint, company is test, and I'm gonna have an attachment not necessary. I just click on submit. Good. It was submitted. My field is gonna get updated in a while. Just give it 2 more minutes and the things are gonna come in. And the best part now, let me open my Outlook. I think it should be open here. I'll give this a refresh. So you see my edit link came in here with my parameter ID equal to 18. So when an admin is gonna click on it, it's gonna come in here. And soon I'll be getting, see, I got my email, SPS testing here. Still loading. Give it a minute. Nice, right? So what did I do? How much effort was I having on creating a workflow or creating a flow and or an automate and getting the value up there? Not much, right? Simple. So it took me what, like 45 to 50 minutes. I have a fully functional Power App with the Flow Automate working for your enterprise or your company or your organization. Good, right? Now, so you'll be see the email is coming now. There you go, SP testing. So let me go back. It's still coming to my deck here before I run up the day. Limitations, my favorite part. So why is the favorite part? Because it's fun to overcome limitations, right? Even for us as a person, we always want to learn more and more in technology, and this is a tech competitive world. It's not enough for what you're doing. And right now, when we are in COVID and things like that, we need to be always improving yourself. So I'm not going to my personal motto of giving you a gyan or a knowledge on how to grow yourself. So, similar way, you have tendency to learn things. Similar way, I think that's how I have learned, and how other people are also learning. So, when I started developing, I understood few of the things. So, first of my thing is, this is not a replacement of info platforms. So, when you go to a business and when we go to a client, and they'll be like, we want the same functionality as an info part, right away say them, hold on, this is not info part complete functionality. InfoPath is more powerful because of SSLT code and things like that. This has no code. I can't write a JavaScript. I can't write a jQuery. I can't do any much building in here. But I can get you 90% of what was there in InfoPath. And I'm not talking about basic InfoPath. Some there I have seen powerful InfoPath forms before. So those bringing them to Power App is like a 90%, 10% you will actually lose the functionality. But again, there are ways you can get those in different ways. But yeah, it won't be 100% what is in for part and gonna work on the part. Okay. Similar way, SharePoint radio buttons and checkboxes. Even if I created a column in the list settings that SharePoint, it is a SharePoint a radio box or a checkbox, it's gonna come up as a drop down in Power Apps. Why? Because it doesn't understand that in SharePoint I selected my choice column as radio box or a drop. Because there are ways how to do that. Now what you do is you go back to your Power App, insert a radio button, insert a checkbox, and map it to your Dropbox. So when somebody is selecting a radio box, he will be happy. Hey, it's a radio button. I'll select a radio button. In the backend, you're actually storing a drop down value because when Power App loads in, it doesn't understand the choice was from a checkbox or from a radio button or things. Again, there's a way to overcome it. As I said, insert radio boxes or checkboxes which Power Apps provide and hide your dropdown. So whenever somebody selects a checkbox or radio button, update your dropdown value and save it back to SharePoint. So in the backend, it's going to be a SharePoint list. It's going to be the same column, but in the front end, it's going to be a radio button or a check. Third is a very bad issue. 13 lookups can only be used in SharePoint. And lookups, when I say you lookup, it doesn't mean only lookup columns like cross-site lookups. It means people picker fields. So now when in SharePoint, we have approval processes. Right now, there's a process where a help desk guy receives approval for something and it sends to a supervisor, director, AVP, SVP, CFO, CEO, and then to finance. If I count like this, there are already 9 in here. So when I try to add the 9 people fields and plus 1 or 2 here and there, if I add the 13 count replenishes so faster that I have to have an issue like now what? Because what happens is when you load more than 13 people picker or a lookup column, the Power App crashes. Yes, Power App crashes. It's so sad. This power platform, this power name associated with them, and it doesn't have a power to even hold more than 13 lookup. So that's there. But again, so when you talk to a business and when you're proposing them something, you just have a count of fields, especially the people picker field and lookup fields, and are they crossing 10? Because why I'm saying 13 is 13 is what they write in their manual, But to be honest, there are back-end things in SharePoint, you know that, right? Even a title field will be a lookup field for them. So you need to count at least 10 that, okay, I have this requirement and it has 10 fields, perfectly, it can be done. If somebody gives you a requirement as 15, right away tell them no. Okay. Then the next one is JavaScript jQuery. No way, you can't write any JavaScript, any jQuery, because the founder of Power App is to go code free. They don't want people to write code. Those days are gone. There are so many apps now, like Power Apps, that you can just do whatever you used to do like 2 years ago in code structure, C Sharp, Visual Studio. You don't require them. You don't even need a Visual Studio license. It's all up here. You have a studio, inbuilt studio, and you can use them from there. Last part is no printing functionality. We have been voting that functionality and we have been mailing them to put that. It's been still in queue. Why need a printing? Okay, me and you would have a knowledge of going go green, but when it comes to finance or HR, they still want to hard code it. They don't believe our technology. Whatever we can play around, we tell them we have Microsoft Cloud, safe, secure, this, that, those. When money comes in and there are file sheets, they will still want to print them. We cannot print them through Power Apps. So there are ways what how we do give them is we send them an email. So when HR needs an email, there's an option we'll give them. You want an email, and they select yes and they submit. And so we send them the whole Power App in a info part or an Outlook form. So they will receive an email with all the details, which they can print out and use it for their allowances and inquiry basis. So in that way, they get hard-coded copy of all the Power App. Yeah. It won't be this look and feel, like the labels and all, but still we try to do a lot of configuration and editing on Outlook basis. And when it comes in here, they'll have all the information, because information is that what they require. Now, when it comes to flow, flow has a limit of just 250 flows. So me as a developer, I might actually fill in my 250 flows very easily, because when we work on projects, we have so many workflows. Like sending an email is also one flow, okay? So when you count the number of, it's 250 per license. So, but if you request Microsoft and you are done with your license of 250, they can increase your license because you are a developer to 500. Okay, so that will help you out having 500 licenses in one go. But and again, when you create a looping for loop is again just 5,000. The items or you're using for loop, it's going to be 5,000 because the threshold of SharePoint Online is 5,000. So what I would suggest you to do is use filters. Filter 5,000 on ID basis, first for 0 to 4,999, then 4,999 to 9,999, and keep on having your for loop when you're updating something or getting some data on a 5,000 count basis. That's going to help you. Last part, I know Steven is messaging me. I'm almost running out of time. So give me 2 minutes. Workflow run duration is just 30 days. Why? So for example, I send you an email for an approval and you went to Miami or Thailand for having a 1 month cruise party, and you come back, the flow would have stopped, because like SharePoint designer, we could have hold for 5 years. This doesn't work in now here, okay? Because it's gonna go in that way. And so what we can give you an option is, suppose you send something for an email and it's coming close to 30 days. On 29th day, rerun the workflow. There's an option here to kick off one workflow from the other. So kick off when you reach it, there'll be a date calculation, right? When date calculation is greater than 29 days, kick off the second workflow. In that way, the whole process will be still alive. Because after 30 days, once you come back from Miami or Thailand, that is not working because the flow would have stopped. Okay, so these are the limitations in flow which we have found personally while I have been working on the Power Apps and flow. There are many, but all can be overcome, to be honest. You should just have a developer eye, which we all have, and we can get things done. I wanted to show you AI Builder, but I'm sorry, I don't have time. I've already been out of. I just have 2 minutes. I wanted to show you how AI works. Let's see if I can do it. So the AI is something which has newly come in here. And the second thing I would talk about was portals. We all have one portal in every tenant, which you can use it as external access. That Power App can be built and shared with everyone outside the organization. And let me come back here. If you have any question, this is the time. I have 1 more minute. Uh, so you can follow me here, take share, talk to me if you have any questions, things like that. And while you're doing that, just take a picture of it. And I'm just gonna quickly show Steven. Just give me 30 seconds, and then I'll be in. Okay. So something we have. I want to show you a scanner here. So we have a platform we have built in. It's in Teams. If you see, you have a home page and things like that coming from SharePoint. So I'm just going to show you one functionality in this, which is AI. AI Builder, a new one which has come, is actually using scanners. You can scan n number of documents and things, and AI is gonna read your document and save it to SharePoint. Easy, right? So what happened is, like right now, is because of the COVID, all the old hospitals, they have so much documents, so much forms, and they were never digital. So if they want to go to digital, you will ask me, get a person and make them type everything, all the forms to make it digital and add them on SharePoint. Why to give them so much effort? Come in here. I'm going to show you one basic functionality here, just for a quick one. So this is a Power App again. It's doing a see if you see it's doing a lot of things. Just gonna do a scanning here. And so you can either use those as a camera. I am using a web now, so I can't open a camera. But if you have a camera, or if you have like iPad or something, or if you have an automatic scanner, scan n number of documents through AI. AI is gonna read all these documents and it's gonna put the data back to SharePoint. So right now I just put a form here of a hospital. Let me show that to you on my box if I have that hospital here. Let me show that. Okay, so if you see this form, it's a normal hospital form, which is gonna come up on your screen in 1 second. And my Power App, though it can be an old form, very, very old form, 20 years old form, and people would have filled it with pen, the data is being recorded by AI and it's going to replace that data from form to SharePoint. So everything gets recorded in a SharePoint and goes back. So, and in the future, when somebody has to come back and refer, everything will be digital and they can throw away the papers and use it for recycle purpose. So good, right? So I want to show more, but I'm gonna close now. Too much learning for one day, I guess. And there are gonna be more sessions by CSharpCorner every 15th of the month. And please join us as and when. So just remember, 15th is of every month. It's gonna be C conference, and there will be amazing speakers every month. And if you want to be a speaker, we have shared the link with you on the chat window, and or reach out to CSharpCorner and please come back to us, and if you have any questions and things like that, and if you want to hear something better, some more sessions, let us know what kind of sessions, what kind of topic you're looking for, and we'll get speakers for you on the same. Steve, are you there? Mahesh is there.
Hey guys, there, great session, Manpreet. Awesome.
Thanks, Mahesh.
Yeah, I think the AI builder sounds pretty interesting. We should spend more time on that maybe next time.
Right, Mahesh, yeah.
And so, it looks like it needs its own full session
Totally.
because I see a lot of companies looking for converting their physical documents into digital.
Yep, that's true.
All right, anything else you have, Simon? Any questions you want to take on? You can jump in here too, Simon.
All right. So I'm back. So it's good. I think one question that I would like to ask on a journal is for all that UI flows that you talked about and the Power Automate platform, how is it different from Superset when compared with the RPA?
In what ways? The functionality or?
Okay, when I talk about UI flows with the RPA, so
Right.
what is the major difference?
So here it's more compatible. So right now they want, as I said, Microsoft wants this technology to be very open. Even a typewriter, like for example, me, a typewriter can also build in. Whereas compared to those are very much complex. You have to have very much depth knowledge and credentials, auto API, all those kind of knowledge you should be aware while you're working on them. This one is just a click on basis. Just see your favorite social platform and just click, and you're done. and you can test it right away compared to those environments, those platforms which are heavily built in. You need to have a license for them and things like that. Here, everything is free of cost. That's what I feel that there's a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think any other RPA platforms are you have to learn things. You have to learn something. Here,
Right.
you're already on Azure. You already have Microsoft account. It already works with your SharePoint, everything else combined, and it's definitely much cheaper. And there's less learning curve for people. If I want to start using one of the RPA tools, then it's everything is brand new.
Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, this is pretty much RPA, right? This whole
Yeah.
flow is nothing but RPA.
Yep. All in the backend with a beautiful UI, a simple
Yeah.
basic UI.
Yeah.
I like the part that it runs on the browser. That I think that is you don't have to download anything. You don't have to
Yeah,
install
you
things
have
for
to
the
download n
configuration
number
to
of
go ahead.
tools and SDKs and things like that. Yep, nothing.
Sir, I think we're using this for our CSharpCorner maybe, right? To automate many things.
Yes, we need to automate. The only problem is, C#Corner itself, uh, you have to have like corporate accounts for building some of these. Even though
Okay.
it's free, but you still have to have kind of, and even users needs to accounts, it's not designed for publicly open websites.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, anything else? I think that was a good session. We should next get ready for the next 15th, and we should announce this in advance.
Yep. And there's a surprise, right, Mahesh? We are bringing together. That surprise might be coming soon.
Yeah,
And
you want to talk a few minutes on that? That's not a bad idea.
now, no, let's hold on. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we can hold
Enough
on.
time. So we can just
No,
tell them something, a big one.
I know. I know. I got an email last night.
Yeah, yeah, you got an email last night. Yeah, so there's a big surprise coming up for everyone. Let's hold on, and we're gonna announce it soon in CSharpCorner and other platforms. So let's.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Everybody has a good weekend.
Okay, man.
Have a good
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you for joining.
Bye. Bye. Take care.
Bye, bye, Mahesh.
Bye.
Bye.